Podcast. Listen, we get into it with this Men Where Art Thou series. I'm super excited. This is my second series, and I promise y'all, I ain't even being funny right now, but we got some real ones up here talking to our men. So, just a little backstory as to why I started this series. There's a time where, in a 1 week radius, I watched two black men, not watch physically, but two black men committed suicide while on live. It troubled my spirit. I felt all types of ways. I was like having nightmares about it. And I'm like, yo, what's happening with our men? And their birth, the Men Where Art Thou series. So this is series number 2. And we are starting with some amazing men who are bold, who don't mind being transparent, and who don't mind letting other men know that I've been there, done that, but God. So today, presenting to some and introducing to others, Mr. Tarvon Rainford from Brooklyn, New York. What's going on?
Hello, how are you? Thank you so much for having me.
For sure. Listen, when I tell you from the bottom of my heart, I feel honored that you accepted my invitation.
I'm honored that you even asked me. This is something that I have had, honestly, a little calling to do anyway. I've always seriously wanted to be involved with like some type of mentoring or counseling or something like at-risk youth, because I never really coming up had anybody to really give me that guidance that I probably needed that would have helped me with some of the decisions that I made, you know what I'm saying, when I was younger. So
gotcha. So he basically saying I'm this is the beginning, or could be the beginning of him being the help that he needed, basically.
Absolutely.
So I can appreciate that. Thank you so much for saying that. So let's just jump right in. Mr. T from BK. When I tell you he's Brooklyn all day, him and his wife, Brooklyn all day. So what was it like, you know, because I don't want people to make assumptions. You know, I'm from Long Island, clearly y'all know I say it all the time. But there's hoods everywhere and there's suburbs everywhere. Okay. So what was it like growing up in Brooklyn? What part of Brooklyn are you from?
I'm originally from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. That's where I was born and raised, and right now I'm residing in East New York, but most of my life I was living in the Bed-Stuy area. And I can't lie, my childhood was, it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's totally different the way that things are now. As opposed
How so?
Would
love to know that part.
Well, I mean,
I can imagine, but I want to hear from you because I got a few thoughts on that.
So it's so many things, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, all of the electronic things that are happening now. We didn't have all of that, you know, social media, everybody with cell phones, you know what I'm saying? Like, back when I was coming up, you know what I mean? It was a select few that had cell phones or things like that, you know what I'm saying? These were really like expensive, yeah, but these were like expensive things that like everybody couldn't afford to have a phone or pay. You know, this was back when I'm giving my age away a little bit, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like people was like you say using beepers and pay phones, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was pay phones everywhere. Yeah. You know, you go, you put your money in, and you call people like that. You know what I'm saying? So that just changed drastically. You know, sports, being outside, playing, as opposed to a lot of kids now into video games. And don't get me wrong, I played video games too when I was younger, but like not the type of games that children are playing now, and not as much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some kids, they be on their game.
Yeah.
They come to play.
It's obsessive.
They on it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the parents though.
And I'm talking about they playing like killer games.
Mortal Kombat, Call of Duty,
Grand Theft Auto, and all stuff, things that involve. It don't seem like it at the time because it's a game, but it's criminal activity stuff. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people think that stuff. I mean, granted, we all have the ability to make choices, but you are crazy if you don't believe that things that are constantly shown to you can influence you to some degree.
Absolutely.
Not saying make you, but like make you feel more comfortable doing it.
Right.
Things of that nature.
That was a bar.
You know what I'm saying? So it just was different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I came up from an era too where parents from all walks would parent not just their kids, they would parent neighborhoods.
The village.
Somebody could beat me. Mm-hmm. Another parent could see me out of pocket and could chastise me and take me to my mother, and it wouldn't be a problem. Whereas now it's, why don't say nothing to my child or this and that. And even in an instance where you were trying to keep them out of harm's way or stop them from doing something that could get them in a bond. So it's just different.
Definitely not. Thank you for saying all of that. We're probably gonna tap back into the video game situation a little later because I got a bunch of thoughts in reference to that, and just you even that seed you just said with the influence, not like you said, not making you do something, but the influence. You know, I think it's a I don't want to say it's a proverb, but I know there's a phrase that I feel like they gave it to us like in middle school or something, where they showed us two lions and they basically was saying like, you know, if you feed one this, you feed one that, whichever one you feed the most.
Oh yeah, that's an old native proverb.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I feel like it's a proverb. Right.
You say, how do you bet which one wins?
Exactly.
You said the one you feed the most.
The one you feed the most. And it's clear as day. Period. The one you feed the most. So if you constantly feed yourself this is what you're going to turn into. So if you, as soon as you wake up, this is what you're doing with this stuff you feed into your spirit, you will become that. So, you know, thank you for saying that. So I definitely agree. When I asked you that question, I also thought you were going to mention like the gentrification that's going on in Brooklyn. Brooklyn don't look like the Brooklyn we know of. You know, Biggie was talking about it. It don't look like that anymore. So I just knew you were going to say that.
It definitely doesn't. I mean, I was just embellishing on my childhood.
Right.
Good, but that's another change that has changed drastically. You know what I'm saying? I forget what lyric it is, but one of the rappers said, you know what I mean? Oh, matter of fact, one of my favorites, Jay, he said, y'all made the projects and sold it to us, put us there. Now y'all want it back.
Like, for real.
Whatever y'all was trying to do didn't pan out the way that y'all wanted it to. So now y'all like, all right, scratch that. Let's just get them out of here.
And it seemed to be the consistent behavior.
No doubt.
Because, you know, it is what it is. But, what do you call? I was gonna ask you, like, okay, so growing up, basically saying you see the difference and you know how your childhood was and you know how things look now, especially with kids. But what about like, you know, what was the dynamics in your home? Like, did you have both parents? Did you have siblings?
I was fortunate enough to and this is I love to say this because people sometimes get so caught up in believing that people wind up in bad situations because the situation is always so bad, and it's not always true. You know what I'm saying? It's just that you get to a certain age and you start to make your own decisions, and even though you may not understand the consequences of the decisions, you start feeling like you're old enough though to start saying, "This is what I want to do."
Right.
You know what I mean? Dangerous time for us, for young men and young women to be in that, you know, that limbo area, because it's a deciding factor in how your life is going to play out in the next couple of years. So I'm talking about from teenage, we're talking about possibly from like 15 going into like 19, 20-ish.
A lot goes on
that phase right there, because you think you start to think you know so much.
I think it's also the puberty thing too.
Absolutely,
it's
all of that. But you just think you know a little more than you knew a few years ago, and so but you think you got to figure it out.
You think you did.
You got to figure it out, and you don't.
The facts, you don't. Yeah. We always end up realizing that when we get a little bit older, we're like, I really ain't know nothing. Like. A lot of people spared me and in my ignorance. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, thank you for sharing that. So when do you think like
I was saying, pardon me. I almost lost my thought. So I had both of my parents in my household. Both of my parents were employed. They were able to put me in Catholic school. Me and both of my siblings, our entire life we were in Catholic school from like younger to like high school.
Right.
Like we went to Catholic school our entire life, and I still made bad decisions. You know what I'm saying? Like I got what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? My pops was My pops was an excellent provider. He was an old school father that felt like, you know, his job was to provide, and he did that to a T.
Okay.
May not been as present as we may have wanted sometimes. And I'm not just saying that to say my father was an absent father, but being that he was so busy trying to make a life for us, you know what I mean, he kind of sometimes would forget that home was just as important.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but again, he did the best he could. My mother did the best they could. You know, like they say, there's no book on parenting.
Facts.
And, you know, I can honestly say I learned a lot from both of my parents in the way of things that I felt like I wanted to do and things that I felt like I didn't want to do. You know what I mean? So I'm thankful for that. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, even though I had a good household, I still made bad decisions.
Right. Gotcha. So mom was mom stay-at-home mom, or she worked also?
My mom was a nurse off and on, and my father used to work with Manpower, do a lot of like stuff for the communities and things of that nature. So he was in that type of work. He worked at Restoration, which is like a big organization in Brooklyn, and that's the majority of the time that's my father did. First he was the post office, and then he started working with, like I said, the community and restoration and things like that. So that was his main job. And like I said, my mother was off and on, being a nurse, and then stay home.
So now, when I'm thinking, you know, with your dad, he did work in the community.
Yes.
So I can, and I'm not making an excuse for it, but you have to have a heart for that kind of work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a heart for educators because you have to have a heart to pour into children.
You have to care, right?
You really have to care. So, but thank you for, you know, sharing that. Because I say it sometimes, I don't know when I'm done with this book, I promise you, I don't. God just keep downloading and it ain't finished yet, but I'm writing a book connected to parenting. And it's connected to exactly what you said. You know, you can be present but not be present in your home. So I always ask my guests, you know, they grew up with both of their parents, and I ask details because just because you guys live together don't mean they were effective parents.
Right.
And in reference to us, the Black community, you know, a lot of us were raised with our grandparents and things, and the man in the house worked. Like, there was no stay-at-home dad situation.
Right.
This is a new thing coming on. I'm just keeping it a buck. I'm keeping it 100. So being a provider was exactly that, being a provider. And mom did the nurturing. Everything connected to home was mom. Everything connected to schoolwork was mom. Dad gave the check. She handled everything, and then he did that again the next week and the next week and the next week. He got his dinner on time. She had her moo on, and they made it work. They did what needed to be done. So, you know, thank you so much for saying that, because sometimes that factor can affect you subconsciously when you start making decisions. And even sometimes, and maybe, you know, I would love for you to tap this. I don't know if you were into sports. A lot of times you'll find that young men gravitate to their coaches, and they'll give speeches and things when they get awards, and they might not mention their pops. They'll mention the coach.
Right.
They'll mention the mentors in the community and not their father.
More of a
hands-on
on them, right?
Yeah.
More time with them. And but this, how crazy is this though? Sometimes it's like that because sports might be the outlet from
that part.
Everything.
That part.
So they trying to spend as much time as possible doing that, so they're around this person more.
Right. That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I just think communication is so key, because I feel like sometimes a kid can misconstrue that.
Yeah.
And feel like my coach care about me, but my parents don't. And it don't be that. It's because your parents are doing all the other things to sacrifice that your coach don't have to deal with.
That's right.
He got to deal with you on just on
this level. For a few hours.
That's it.
A few hours a day.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he don't got to clothe you. He don't got to provide for you. He don't got to make sure your well-being is good. He don't have to make sure that you're staying out of trouble. He don't have to try to educate you to do better things. He don't have to try to make you into an upstanding person. He don't have to do these things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he may be instilling some of these things, doing it through sports, which is where the misconstruing comes from. Because you start saying, well, he cares.
Right.
But at the time, he just really, although he may be molding you, if you weren't playing sports,
He's doing his job.
Doing that?
Yeah, he's doing his
if
job.
If you weren't playing sports, would he be?
Right.
Would you be around him that way?
Mm-hmm.
Would he still be like, yeah, just come hang out with me?
Yeah.
You know, you're not playing sports. So, you know what I'm saying?
No, that's a fact. That's a fact.
And not to say, like I said, some coaches are real big implements into their players' lives. And like you said, they make it from this level to that level, and they still there. They come to just the other night, I forget which game it was, but one of the coaches was at somebody's game. I think it was coach. Was it coach game? Was it coach game?
This is college or
No, this was
NBA?
A pro game, but their college coach was at the game.
Right.
For them. It might have been.
Okay.
I'm trying to, and it's like a big coach too. I just can't remember offhand who it was. But like you said, so they, you know, I'm not saying that, but just it's so being a little older now, you know what I mean, and being a little wiser and just open-minded to a lot of different perspectives and learning about life and people and things like that. I understand a lot of things a little better, and being able to understand better makes me a better person to an extent.
Yeah. You can now give, no, I absolutely did, because you can now give your parents grace or people grace when it comes to certain things, because you now know in your maturity what that was. Because when you're 15 and 16, you kind of only see stuff like this. Right. It's like nothing over here and nothing over here. You only see this. Right. So all you see is Coach said to me that I'm a great kid, but I never heard my father say that before. You know what I'm saying? Coach's wife said I was handsome. The only person who's ever said that is my mother, but my father never says anything about how I look. And everybody say I look just like her. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's like this, but then when you get older, the lenses kind of spread, and you're able to see, you're able to remember certain things and how you felt.
Absolutely.
You know, so thank you. Thank you so much, you know, for sharing that. That's a bar right there. Like for real. Listen, pay attention, people, for real. With your kids, because like you said, there's no manual to parenting. There's no manual to being a kid either. Right. How about that part? Right. So parents sometimes gotta be a little easy, you know, with the whole parenting thing, because you're not always right. Definitely. You're not always right. And so even with that, you're a dad, right?
Yes, I am.
How many children do you have?
I have altogether, I have 7 children.
With the altogether.
7 children.
So now you're also married.
Yes.
Are you married to any of the moms?
No.
Well, not any, like he married 5 of them. Yes. I mean, y'all know what I'm trying to say. For real?
Yes. No.
Okay. So now, when did you start having children?
I started having children when I was 21.
Okay.
So
okay.
Not too bad, but still a little too early. Because I definitely was not ready.
You definitely was not ready. Okay.
Yeah.
So now, mom and dad being together, being married, did they feel some type of way when you came home saying, I'm about to be somebody involved?
Yeah. Are you crazy? You know what I mean? Man, my mom was like, oh, you think you grown? Oh. You don't even take care of yourself fully now? Because, you know, but at this time, too, she was kind of capping because I was like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like, you know, like I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like I wasn't really established enough to really leave and get my own place, but like I was working on it.
Right,
like I was adamantly working on it because my mother was starting to not want to deal with my business. Okay. Like I said, again, I was in that dangerous zone.
Yeah, I'm about to say, so let me go back. Yeah, let me go back because I'm laughing right now because now I get it. Okay, so now you mentioned your parents, working parents, doing what they got to do for you, providing for you, and you said it was 4 of you?
3.
There's 3 of you. Yes. Which child are you?
I am the middle.
You are the middle! I knew it! I freaking knew it. We're the best. That's all I'm saying. We're the best, and we take care of business. We're a little rough around the exercise, but we handle it between the 2 of y'all. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say, and we're going to move on. So with that, mom and dad doing what we feel they supposed to do. Because we feel we supposed to be in like Catholic school and in private school. That's how we feel. we feel like we up when we do that. So they did this for you. And your siblings, like you said, but you said there was a shift where you felt like you want to do what you want to do. What happened there?
Well, I was already, I started making bad decisions probably like going into my late teens. And, you know, again, here we go. Well home, taken care of, get basically what I want. I mean, like, not everything, but on the level of you talking about back then when I was coming up, I got damn near anything I wanted.
So you had Atari? You had Nintendo?
ColecoVision.
Oh, not ColecoVision. What?
Yeah, we had ColecoVision.
Nah, they was doing all right.
ColecoVision
Yeah,
had about 7 cartridges, TV in every room. You know what I'm saying? Like we was
doing a little more like Mr. Bed-Stuy Brooklyn.
We was all right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we was what one would consider like the middle class.
The middle class,
family.
got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Like
so
right there
said,
before.
Yeah.
Got
I might not get a sheepskin when it first come out, but I'm gonna get one.
Yeah, it's gonna be on sale when we get it, but we get it.
I'm gonna get one. You know what I'm saying? So my family, like, we kept up with the Joneses to the best of our ability. You know what I'm saying? But there's always somebody doing that little bit more. And in my neighborhood, most of the people that were doing that little bit more were street people.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's very easy to, even when you're getting what you want, to want more.
To want that.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to get sheepskin when it first come out.
Why we gotta wait?
I want to have more than one sheepskin.
Right.
I want to, because I'm seeing that
tan and black.
The people that are doing the things that they're doing to be able to do this, the attention that they're getting, they're able to do what they want to do when they want to do it. Some of these dudes that I know that was in the street, they wasn't coming to school. You know what I mean? But they still was passing and stuff like that. So I'm like
this ain't rocket science.
I gotta figure something out. You know what I'm saying? I gotta figure something out because I wanna spread my wings and do my things too. Now, my brother was also a big influence for me, and my brother was kind of making bad decisions too. And
what's the age difference?
My brother had me about 3 years. He's deceased now. And we're doing dumb neighborhood stuff, but it's crazy how one stupid decision could alter your entire life, and especially if you've been fed a narrative on top of that. So I say that to say my brother got in trouble, and got in big trouble. He him and a bunch of dudes did an armed robbery, and in the midst of the armed robbery, the dude that they were robbing tried to disarm the guy that had the gun while they were robbing him, and the gun discharged, and the dude died. And my brother and all 5 of the dudes that was with him all got rounded up because one dude got caught for throwing everybody. I mean, you kids though, it's crazy because
and how old was he at the time? Or they at the time?
He was a teenager.
Yeah.
He was a teenager, and I believe my brother at the time might have been around 19.
Okay, so you was old enough to know what was going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he fortunate enough not to be the one to pull the trigger, but still there. So
yeah.
You know what I mean? He had to go away. He wound up getting like 7 or 8 years for that.
Oh wow. As a teenager.
Just being a participant in that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sadly, what we hear when we make it to that other side is that, well, your life is done now because once you got a felony, you can't do nothing.
An F letter, yeah.
And you hear that so much that it's like when you get out, it's like, what's the sense of trying to do something if
I got the F on my chest.
nothing's going to happen from it anyway?
Yeah.
And you may be optimistic even when you come out, but somehow that fog sinks in there because you're going for jobs, you're going to, you know what I mean, and you hearing no's, and you're not hearing, you don't have people in your ear telling you, you know, after the 99th line, that 100 might be a yes.
Yeah.
You know, you hearing, man, you ain't gonna find no job.
Yeah. They ain't gonna hire you. You got a robbery. Yeah. And they look at that as different, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Depending on like, so if certain places won't take you depending on what your crime is, some won't take you for anything, but some of them depends on like quite naturally. If you got an armed robbery, they're not gonna let you work in the bank.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if you know what I'm saying, use a scammer, they're not gonna let you work in nothing where you dealing with computers.
Right.
Like anything that can reflect to where you might be able to, you can't do nothing with that.
Yeah.
You can't do nothing with that. So and violence sometimes they just don't want you around because they never know when you might have another violent episode.
Yeah.
They call it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they be like, nah, we don't want that. And I mean you have people say, oh, they're gonna bond you. It don't matter. Go to this place. They hire felons, this and this and that. But the reality of the situation is, unless you know somebody, or the higher power decide that this is your path.
Slim pickings.
Yeah.
You
know what I'm saying? They never.
So what does that do to? Because now I'm thinking, and this is just in reference to the story you mentioned with your brother. You were a teen, now you're coming in at the age of a grown man, but you're not really like a grown man.
Yeah.
So can you kind of tap into that?
I was super angry at my brother because I felt like, although it was fun growing up and all of that, you deal with the same turmoils and pitfalls and paths that you deal with in every hood and neighborhood. Mm-hmm. You gotta fight. You know what I'm saying? You got bullies, you got other neighborhoods, all of that. So, you got to defend yourself or whatever. And when you got an older sibling, you know what I'm saying, he's kind of your protector. You got some help. You got somebody, if you need some help, you got somebody that could back you up. And when he went away, it was like, I felt like I was by myself. And for some reason, too, it felt like people in the neighborhood, knowing that he was gone, like extra, like started extra
trying.
Yeah. And like, you know what I mean? I had to start making like rash decisions. You know what I'm saying? And this was, I was 16. Now I'm trying to get a gun.
To protect yourself.
Yeah, because I'm like, you know what I mean?
I gotta come harder than them because they come hard out of nowhere.
You know what I'm saying? Like, even dudes that didn't like my brother.
Right.
I'm a victim for them too because he's not around.
Yeah.
So, like I said, this was like the beginning of me starting to
unravel,
make bad decisions. You know what I'm saying? That will alter my life, basically.
So now, where was the youngest is a sister?
No.
It's all boys?
Yes.
Look at mom and dad with 15 boys. Okay.
Yes.
So what was the youngest sibling feeling about that? If you going through this, are you going through this alone or y'all have
because remember, I'm 16, he's like 13. I got
so y'all always three,
right.
Okay.
Matter of fact, he might have been 12. He's either 12 or 13 because I got him by like 4, but like my birthday falls where once my birthday falls, it's 4. Then once his birthday falls, it's 3. You know what I'm saying? So he might have been 12 or 13 then. And he's not, like I said, we all in campus.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is when my brothers rebelling though. He done got kicked out of high school. He's doing this, he's doing that. They send him to Job Corps, all types of. They trying to just figure something out to do with him. No doubt, yeah, they do. they do. You know what I'm saying? And
if you follow through,
right? And so he's like,
What do I do?
where you
Where do I fit in? What's
You know what I'm
happening?
saying? Like, they don't even know. My mother and father at the time don't even know how to explain jail to us or
Right.
what's really happening because they weren't street people
Right.
at all.
They green about all
My
this.
mother was from down south and my father was from Jamaica, so they don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They
Not
like,
their worlds at all.
you know, they like, you know, my father used to always, this was my father's line whenever we got in trouble. He used to say, my brother, even when I did, he'd be like, you're a smart dummy. Because it's like, we always were academically sound, but we just got into the bad decision making, man.
So what you play, football?
I play basketball.
You play basketball. What your brothers play? Your brothers play?
My brothers play basketball. All of us were basketball kids. Yeah, we all were basketball. I tried football for a little while, but
he's like, no.
The tackling thing didn't agree with the tackling thing didn't agree with me.
Yeah, I got you. So I'm just trying to paint this picture right now. So working parents putting their 3 kids, they 3 boys through school, they in sports, they showing up to school, and then a shift starts to happen. These are parents who are not street at all.
No.
So they probably didn't even really have the tools to even know what to do with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. But at the same token, let me ask this. The Catholic school, how many black people was in it? What's with how many black people?
As far as students?
Yeah.
Yes. Very mixed.
Okay, good.
Cultures in school, all type of ethnicities in school.
Okay.
These were, and we actually, my brother went to school with Biggie.
Oh, nice.
St. Peter Claver.
Wow.
So from St. Peter Claver, we went to Our Lady of Bed-Stuy. From Our Lady of Bed-Stuy, we went to New Bed-Stuy. From New Bed-Stuy, we went to Bishop Lockwood. And then that's when all the chaos started.
All right, so now your brother gets in trouble. You're left behind to basically fend for yourself. Well, both of y'all, really. You know, your little brother too. So now you get into a place where you just, because I know what that hurt is like. I went through that. I have an older brother too who went to jail. I'm like, what? What's supposed to happen now? You know what I'm saying? So, young black man, well, now you kind of being bullied because your protection is gone.
Right.
It's a wrap, and they know like you almost like cook fish almost. So now you feeling like I gotta go beyond what they doing to me. I gotta step it up. So now where are you with that?
I'm trying to get me a pistol, and I wound up getting one, and I'll never forget it too, man. Little 32, little 8-shot 32, automatic, and I turned to the Bishop from Juice. I turned to the Bishop from Juice. I'm serious. From those moments born, like, and so I got the gun in particularly for a person that had tried to do something. They tried to rob me at a dice game, and they lost. And it was like wee hours of the morning, and
you couldn't take the
they
L.
were mad, yeah. Mm-hmm. So he was like, you know what I'm saying?
You embarrassed him.
Yo, I want a shot to get my money back. Let's shoot all the money for one shot. I said, you can shoot, you just gotta show me that you got the money.
Exactly. What we doing?
So he like, I lost that money already. You got to me. I don't gotta show you nothing. I'm like, yeah, man, you gotta. I'm not doing it. So he's like, well, word, you're not gonna do it? You're not gonna shoot it? I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do it. So he's like, all right. He walks over to his car.
So he older than you?
Yeah. This was my life. My life was sports. I was always into gambling.
Oh, you were?
Blame that on my mom. Mother was a gambler too. I got to. She introduced me. I used to watch my mother do card games.
Oh, that was my crib.
Yes.
Turned all the way up.
So I moved. Parents need to know this. Parents need to know this. Even when we're not saying nothing as kids, we still saying everything. We sponges, and I'm learning that more now. Even with dealing with my kids growing up now and my grandkids and things like that, like they absorb. They absorb and emulate.
What do you know?
They absorb and emulate. They absorb and emulate. And a kid later on in life is never going to see nothing wrong with something that you did constantly around them.
That was a bar. Like, say that again for the people in the back and in the nosebleeds.
You doing it.
Word.
And even if, we know the mantra is do as I say, not as do as you're told, not as you know what I'm saying? But it's hard.
That saying has never been right. I don't know who made it up, but y'all was wrong.
Yeah, it's
like,
hard.
Period.
It's hard.
Y'all was out of pocket with that.
A perfect example of that, I always go to the people is I'm a movie buff too, but beyond being a movie buff, I see the bigger picture of a movie. I see other things that movies may show that you may not be thinking about at the time, but basically what I'm talking about is look how Tarzan was in the plan Tarzan, Lord of the Apes.
Lord of the Apes. Mm-hmm.
And he was human, but he was around apes so long that he was able to emulate them where they accepted him as if he was an ape, knowing he wasn't.
That was good.
But he emulated them so perfectly to where they looked at him as an ape. Yep. And then he was even able to leave from that and revert back to being human and be accepted by them too, which is a whole other concept of how we can adapt to almost any situation.
Environment.
But like
that was good, sir.
Yeah, so it's and that's the same thing I'm talking about with the influence with the it's if something is constantly if I taught you from birth how to act like a turtle, you gonna act like a turtle.
Yep. The facts.
You gonna act like a turtle. I teach you how to act like a monkey from birth, you gonna act like a monkey. So I can't get mad if I'm teaching you like a monkey and then you
you can't get mad. You trying to give him pork. He's like, I only eat bananas. Like, what's wrong with you, Dad? Like,
you know what I'm saying? So
no, that was good. Wow, Zers. Okay, so this dude, I'm gonna know it. I ain't gonna hold your man. I felt that when he said, "Oh, you're not gonna do it." And I felt when I promised, I could see the scene. I'm like you. I can see the scene.
So he
goes to the car.
I see him taking him.
Wow.
And when he pulls the gun, I take off, and he starts chasing me. And I want to, you know what I'm saying, getting away from him. But that was my like my last straw. I said, yo, I know he wouldn't have did that if my brother was home. Because my brother was like I said, my brother was in the street. He started being in the street. That's why the robbery thing happened, because he's running around with, you know, the kind of the neighborhood guys, but they doing hoodlum stuff, and he's, you know what I'm saying, he's into that. He's into that. And so I went and got me a gun. And I caught up to this dude, you know what I mean? And like the fear on his face when I caught him, clicked the switch in me. He clicked the switch in me, and I just started, you know, everything was, and mind you, again, because all my times it ain't like now. Right now, I feel like everybody can get a gun.
That's a fact.
But back then, you couldn't just get a gun like that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You really had to either have some money or know people that could get stuff like that. Because like I said, it wasn't like everybody. Like it feel like now, like guns is like cell phones.
No, that's a fact. It's definitely different.
You look on the news
and it shows you even in Jews, he had to go, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like channels to get that. It wasn't no just
you all the way in the back of the store,
right,
having this conversation, and you're 15.
And so I wound up once I had my little gun, I started, you know what I mean? I ain't losing in no dice game now either. You know, if I lose,
you gave up that same energy.
I need my money back. You know what I mean? It was either going to, excuse me, give me my money back, or he was going to give me my money back and his money.
Look, red or blue pill, what we doing? What we doing?
And that's what I got on. And then a group of dudes in the neighborhood that were into robbing people heard about me. And they came to report me. Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? When you making You need to be coming with us. So I wound up running around with the sticker crew for a little while. And right before my brother was getting ready to come home from prison, I got locked up.
Wow.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I got parents was up. Like,
live it.
Happening?
Yeah, they will live it. And I mean, I promise you, I was trying to do the right thing, but one foot in, one foot out. And like we just was talking about with the wolf. Right. It's what you feeding. Excuse me again. And it's what you feeding. And so one day I'll be going down to the police force to take the test for the police. The next day,
you're like, give me your money.
I don't got no money. And I'm going to get some money.
I gotta get money the way I do it. Way I do it.
You know.
Gotcha.
Or they called me back. Oh, you passed your police test with an 89. Now you gotta go and take another part of the test. I want to do the test.
Go and do the test, and I still need a sheepskin.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So in the middle of that too, I also tried to go to the Navy.
Wow.
And
what put that on?
Because my mother kept saying to me, when I got locked up that time and went to prison, I didn't stay in prison.
Okay. And you went to prison?
Yeah, I went to jail. I went to Rikers Island.
Okay.
I didn't go upstate.
Gotcha.
Like
now I'll just be trying to, everybody does nothing worse.
Right. You know, that was
trying to make it clear.
Yeah, so I got locked up. I got locked up like a state city case. Mm-hmm. I was in Rikers Island for a little while. They didn't really have a lot on the case.
Now, how old are you at this time?
I'm like around 17.
Okay.
Right? So the case, a cop chased me. They pulled up on the corner. It was about 5 or 6 on the corner. I had a gun with me. They pulled up. They jumped out. They like, yeah.
Loaded gun? Because there's a difference, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you explain that to them? Like, if it's an empty gun, if it's a loaded gun, it's different in time, right?
If you have a gun, if you have a gun now, period, it's a bad look because being that so much violence and stuff is going on, it's no more. People used to get slaps on the wrist for having guns. Right. Because it's like if you weren't doing anything with it, but we caught you with it, even though you're not supposed to have it. Like we're gonna put you on probation because you probably I was trying to protect myself. So they were all right. Now with so many murders and so many violence, you can't have no gun. If you're not supposed to have no gun, you can't have no gun. They're not trying to hear nothing, and you're going to jail for having one. You know what I mean? And if you are somebody that has been locked up before and they catch you with a gun, they're going to give you more time than they will give somebody that got caught with a gun the first time. The mandatory minimum for getting caught with a gun, if you have a felony, is 10 years. That is the minimum, meaning the least amount of time that you are supposed to get. 10 years. If you are a convicted felon caught with an unregistered or with a firearm.
You heard that? Okay. Phew.
So I wound up getting out. My father's telling me, yo, you is a smart dummy. You see what's happening with your bubble, but here you are in the street, running around, doing the same BS.
Yeah, it's like, make it make sense.
Right. But again, I'm in that bad area. My decision making is, I think I got it figured out. And I also, at this point, had a very, my rapport started getting bad with my parents because I discovered that my parents were involved with using drugs.
Oh, wow.
So I knew that they...
well, it's probably like with the cards environment.
Right.
The gambling.
I knew that my parents drunk beer, liquor. I knew that they smoked weed. I didn't know what it was until I got a little. But as I got older, it's like
like okay,
this is what was going on. But they started doing higher level drugs than that at some point, and as I'm starting to be more into the street, I'm starting to notice things.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm around dudes that are selling drugs. Because initially, like I said, I wasn't into drugs. I was raw.
Yeah. You like, I got my next dude looking scared at me. I was like, oh, I got it.
One of my men said to me, he said, why would you put yourself at risk for all them hours to be out there selling drugs when you could just wait for a dude to do that and then come in 5 minutes and take everything? That was the ideology that brought me to the side of.
The truth of the matter is,
I'm not selling drugs.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
Let him do all the work.
Yeah. So that's what we was on. We were like rob drug dealers. We were people that we knew had money.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like I said.
What was that like once you realized this is what they was doing? Did you feel like they can't tell you nothing because you out here, because you doing this?
Absolutely.
Got it.
I started losing respect for my parents, which is a terrible, terrible thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And at the time, I'm young, I don't even understand that. How hard it must have been to keep everything afloat and be dealing with addiction on top of that.
Thank you for saying that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't realize it younger. You think it's just, you know what I mean? But like, that's a lot.
Yes.
That's a lot. And like I said,
and your kid is in jail.
Mind you.
And one acting up.
In spite of that, always had a roof over my head.
Right.
Cannot recall no nights I went to bed and didn't eat.
Right. Come on.
Had clothes on my back. Was in Catholic school. You know what I mean? So, wow. I get it now. A little different than then. You know what I mean? And grateful for everything that they instilled in me, and I learned just from them, being around them, everything, because it molded me into the person I am today. You know what I'm saying? And it was a tough time. It was a tough time for me. And they say hindsight is 20/20.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
If I could do a few things over differently, I would. Yeah. But like I said, life is living and living is learning.
Living is learning. That's a fact. So now, okay, get caught with the gun or get charged, right? Because now I'm realizing that the basketball situation is a wrap.
Right.
Like,
but sports was a getaway for me. You know what I mean? Quite natural. There's so many facets of they started doing drug things. So they arguing more. Home is not, my brother's locked up. You know what I mean? Like, things are just drastically changing in my household, and so I don't want to be in the house. So basketball was my escape for that. You know what I mean? But once I started dipping and dabbling in the street more, I got some place else to be besides basketball.
And getting money for it.
And
dressing nice for it.
I'm starting to come up. I'm starting to do my little 1-2.
So now, looking back, do you realize, or do you feel kind of like what you felt your brother did, which was doing what he did, getting locked up and leaving you, that you kind of end up doing that to your little brother?
I didn't think about that at the time because you never think you're going to
No.
But once I got locked, well, my solace for that, like I told you, was when I was going in, my brother was coming out. So I was like, he's going to be all right. Yeah. He got this nigga. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be all right.
These are the things you tell yourself. Yeah. And it makes no sense.
Yeah, he's going to be all right. Wow. So, you know what I mean? And, my whole, like I said, everything got doused before that, like I said, I was making legitimate attempts, but here's the monster. Legitimate, I was trying to do the police force. That didn't pan out. I tried to go to the Navy. I got screwed so bad with getting into the Navy. It was horrible.
What happened?
So I made it into the Navy. I went to my MEP station, to my MEPS officer, and so I'm filling out my questionnaire before they're supposed to be shipping me off. So he says to me, have you ever used any drugs before? So I said, I smoke weed. So he said, when the last time you smoked? I said, I probably smoked weed like last night.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, just weed though? I'm like, yeah. He said, just weed? I'm like, yeah. He like, okay, I'm just making sure because if it's just weed, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
They send me away. I go to the Great Lakes in Chicago. That's where they stationed me at. That's where they send you at for basic training for the Navy. So I went and started basic, and
gosh, he laughing.
I'm going to basic because y'all go to basic. I got a 4-finger ring on.
he all the way broke.
That's how I went. That's how I went to them, and they like, Radford, what the hell are you doing here? We just got take that shit off your head.
They definitely lit you up.
And I'm like,
definitely lit you up.
This nigga yelling in my face, like he right in my face, like if you don't want to be here, you get the fuck out right now. And so I'm taking my stuff up, like yo,
like
everybody looking like. But the only thing that kept me a big was like they yelling at everybody.
Okay.
What the fuck are you looking at? Take your shit, because we gotta take all our stuff off.
Right.
We gotta put the stuff they giving us on. We gotta get on the
bus. Lose yourself.
So. I get there, so first I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? But my mom was like, it's either this or job corps. Because I done got kicked out of 3 high schools now. I got kicked out of Bishop Block. From Bishop Block, when I went to Boys and Girls High, I got kicked out the high. From the high, I went to...
And what was you doing? Just not showing up?
I was not going. When I was going, I was not going to class. Not going to teach, not going to class. I just was doing a bunch of stupid stuff. You know what I mean? The crazy thing though was sometimes I did go to school, and when I did go to school, all the teachers used to be like, "Why didn't you come to school?"
Oh.
Because I was always the academic kid. Like
they was confused.
I loved reading. I would participate when I was in class. I knew
when you're here.
I knew answers, and they like, how does motherfucker But like, legitimately, I would when I was in the street, I might just read my book. You know what I'm saying? I read my science book. I read my, you know what I'm saying? The only thing subject I didn't really like was math, but I learned to like math because I had a math teacher, God bless her soul, she's not dead, Miss Tolkins.
She says she's not dead.
New Best I Am. They pop up every once in a while and like hit you up on Facebook like, I see you.
Oh,
you know what I mean? I see you. And she said, you know if you're going to get a lot of money, you're going to have to learn math.
Well, come on, lady.
So I was like,
this is true. This is true.
So you know what I'm saying? That was my little encouragement to get into math. So I would say math probably was my worst subject, but at the same time, I wasn't a bad student. So I was probably like a B. You know what I'm saying? In math, or C+, C+ with math, but like reading and literature and history and all of that. I would come in there, they'd be like, "Oh, we having a quiz today." I'm telling you, I ain't been in class a week. We having a quiz today. They know I'm cheating. This mother, he gotta be cheating. Ain't no way he ain't been in this class and know this stuff. But like I said, they would sit me, move me away from people. All this, and they be like, after that, they started just being like, "You're so smart. Like, why don't you class?" And I'm like, "Ain't no money in class." You know what I'm saying? Y'all getting paid to be here. You wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying?
He was throwing it back at
him. So they're like, "Oh yeah, you know what? I'm not even doing that."
I ain't going back and forth.
Let him do. Yeah.
If he show up good, if he don't,
good. Yeah. He too smart for his own good.
Right,
He gonna
right.
get what he gonna get what he got. He gonna get what he got.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So now you're in a place where you losing respect for your parents.
Yeah.
End up catching the case.
Right.
Now your brother come home.
Right.
You go in.
Right.
What is it like in jail? You said you went to jail, not prison.
Yes.
Jail. How much time you had to do the first time?
I did 2 years.
For just having the gun.
I had a 2 to 6.
Explain that.
So a 2 to 6 back then they had like what they call first offender bids, predicate bid is like a second offender bid, like consistent after that, like the third one. So like your first felony, usually whatever your first felony was, it falls into a column of the number is usually whatever the first number is, the last number is 3 times that.
Okay.
So like a 1 to 3, or a 2 to 6, or 4 to 12.
Gotcha.
That makes so I wound up getting a 2 to 6 for the gun. But I had already been on Rikers Island for almost a year and a half. So the lawyers said I was locked up for 6 armed robberies. Once I got caught with the gun, they did a ballistics test on the gun and put me in a line. Started putting me in lineup because I was locked up for a robbery. The gun, and then somebody pegged me for a robbery. So they started putting me in lineups for people for robberies. And like 6 people was like, he was one of them. He was one of them.
They were telling you?
Some of them they was wrong. Some of them they was right. Some of them they was bullshit. So, but I'm like, they got approval of it. Right. So my lawyer's like, don't worry, this case didn't.
You got a paid lawyer?
No.
Okay.
I had a public defender. Okay. They didn't really have no money like that.
No, I'm saying your mother was like,
we kicked
out of school. We ain't doing that.
After year, well, mind you, again, they started playing with the drugs, okay. So they may not even really have it. But they didn't already gave me the spill from when I got locked up and I got out and nothing happened. Like,
right. Let that be
I'm telling you, you mess around, you're gonna get yourself in the jail, and we're not gonna be able to help you. So you better start making better decisions. I hear them, but it's falling on deaf ears because what are y'all really telling me?
Yeah, you in it.
Shut up. Shut up. Okay. I don't know what y'all talking.
So now, what was it like being in Rikers?
Anybody that tells you that their first time in prison, they were not scared or afraid, I believe they are lying. Because I feel like we all fear the unknown. Yeah. We hear all these terror tales, Before I went to jail, I'm just seeing movies like Penitentiary. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, is it really like this? You know what I mean? Yeah. But sadly, you go in there and more than likely, you're going to run into somebody.
You know the facts.
And once you get in there and you either establish yourself or you have some people in there or established or whatever, at some point you get to a level of comfortability, which is sad, but it's just true. And you have to be that complacent not to kind of lose it, or as they say we do a lot of times, you'll be burnt out. But it's a bad situation. Nobody should get comfortable in prison. I mean, I get that you want to not have a hard time in there, have a hard bed, but you shouldn't be content with, well, I'm here and I'm going to just live like a king in here. Yeah. And live like I'm never getting out of here.
Right. That part, like I'm never getting out.
Yeah, nah. Ain't nothing cool about this. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing fly about being in a cage. Right. Having somebody tell you every waking moment what you gotta do. Yeah. Ain't nothing cool about that. But sadly, again, I go back to neighborhood things. Jail was a badge of honor, though. Because people would go to jail and come home, and people in the neighborhood revered them a little bit.
Right. Yeah, they'll be throwing block parties for the one that came home from jail, but not the one who going to college.
Right, exactly.
No,
you know what I'm saying? So they, it was a big thing to be like, that even you say that to Skip. Well, I've been in jail before. That was a big and so nobody in my neighborhood after a certain age was scared of jail.
Right, which is bad.
Yeah, like so.
Like I'll do that.
If I go, I go. But if I go, I go. Terrible mentality they have, but that's the mentality of the hood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, wow. But I was in there terrified my first time being in there. You know what I mean?
And then once again, you don't have your brother.
Don't got my brother, can't get out. Thank God I was always a fighter though. Right. I had to fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even when my brother wasn't there, like I had to fight. But like I said, I think people started moving different because my brother wasn't there. So, people tried to jump me. People was pulling out guns on me. You know what I mean? And people were trying to rob me. I ain't never did nothing for you to be one of the rob me. So, but yeah, I went in there, and like I said, I ran into a few people that I knew, and then after a while, it was just, I was just in there like I was in the street, running with my dudes. You know what I mean? Whatever they into, I'm into.
So you was still robbing in there too?
We beefed, but I was messing with a lot of dudes that was gang affiliated. So I was like, just whatever they was into, I was into.
Right.
I mean, I wasn't just picking people out to rob, but if they was robbing somebody, I was with it. You know what I'm saying? Because, that camaraderie that you have, that you build with dudes, and just, they get into it, you get into it.
Right.
But like I said, I wasn't there that long. I was there for a year and a half. And so the lawyer says to me, I had like six armed robberies. And the lawyer was like, I ain't gonna hold you. I could beat 4 of these easy. The last 2, you're gonna have to, it's gonna be hard. And I can almost guarantee you one of these, they gonna get you and they gonna pin you to the wall. If you go to trial, I don't be understanding people sometimes. I mean, I guess I do, but I don't. But if you know for, like, people can do dumb stuff, like you got caught with the gun, your fingerprints is on the gun, they got 2 witnesses, the person is shot, the person is still alive, they saying you shot them too, they got video you shooting the person, and they say, listen, we got a plea deal for you. We're going to give you 7 years. Right. But if you go to trial, you're going to get 30. Right. But if we can't prove it, you're going to win. You're going to get nothing. You know they don't take this out. I ain't copying out. I'm a kid. Like, are you stupid?
Well, for some, yes.
Like, are you stupid?
Dumb?
You listening to rap records?
Right.
Oh, we don't care. We don't smile. We take them to trial. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, have fun.
Yeah. You willing to trade 7 for 20 or 25? That makes no sense to me. Like I said, especially when they got you. They got you. Like, oh, don't never tell on yourself this and that. But when they got you, they got you.
Yeah. Yeah.
When they got you, they got you. It's that simple. So, but people try to fight the system and look for all these crazy loopholes and this and that, and it don't pan out that way.
So when did you get to a place where you was like, I gotta stop this?
So the lawyer says to me, they'll give you a plea for 2 to 6. Half the time, the lawyers really are just, especially the attorneys that they use for the court, the public defenders, they really just trying to get convictions.
Yeah.
If they can get everybody to take a plea, it's fine with them because it's still a win for them. Yeah. You know what I mean? And even cases where he might have could have beat both of my cases, or I might have could have beat both of them with a private attorney, but he's like, do y'all want the conviction or not? We've been fighting for a year and a half. I ain't been able to convict him for nothing. He still got these 2 cases coming up. But like he'll take the plea right now. He's figuring I'll take the plea too because a 2 to 6, I got a year and a half and I got to do 6 to 8 months. So by the time I get processed and go upstate, I'll probably be right back on my way right now. So I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. So I took it. Right before I went upstate, my brother wrote me and told me, "Damn, bro, I'm sad that I'm coming home and you're growing up, but you're gonna be all right. I'm home. I'm gonna figure something out. Yada yada yada." And I'm gonna turn up for us when you come home. We're gonna be all right. So I go away and I come home. And when I come home, nobody knows I'm coming home. And I don't tell nobody. I don't tell my mom, I don't tell nobody. They know I got a 2 to 6, but they don't know exactly when I'm coming home. So I get out, I go straight to my mother's crib. I open the door. She opened the door. Sis, I'm like, yo, my bad. She's like, they just left from the around the corner at the park, 844 Park. So I go around the corner to the park, and it's 3 cars parked in front of the park. It was just crazy. My brother and a few dudes from where I went in, it was just crazy. So I go in there, that's not good. So my brother see me, so he come up there with him. And he's like, yo, go get my jewelry from over there.
Go get his jewelry?
Yeah, we have his jewelry on.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
My jewelry over there. Go get my jewelry so you can put my jewelry on. You know what I'm saying? So you look like a ball like that. I'm like, yeah,
like you look fresh out.
I'm put the little chain on. I'm like, man, you got a chain. I'm like, come on, you give you some clothes with us. I'm like, all right, so get up there. We got a blend.
Like, what's going on?
Like, yeah, it's a whole lot.
It's different now. Yeah.
A whole lot of different stuff happening. So, mind you, we couldn't really communicate via mail or phone because they monitor everything. So he couldn't tell me that he was hustling.
Right.
And he wound up while he was in doing a program with some dudes from Oleana College. And when he got out, he linked up with them and started going out there hustling.
Oh, wow.
And from Oleana, he wound up going to Delaware. And that's where he wound up getting killed in Delaware. You know what I mean? He went down there to do his thing.
Mm-hmm.
He did his thing. It was like, yo, we gonna mess around. We gonna be millionaires.
Top. He was looking at the. Wow.
We gonna be millionaires. And it felt so believable right now because we had all of the things that I was looking at that other people had before. Like he looked like one of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just was like, I want a piece of this, but at the same time, I didn't really know anything about drug dealing and selling and none of that. So I still was like, y'all got pistols.
He like, what about my lane?
Yeah, I know you got some guns. You got some guns. I need a gun.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I need a gun. Like, what you need a gun for? What you mean? What I need a gun for, bro? I need a gun.
Mm-hmm.
I need a gun. So I right after that, I wound up getting shot at a dice game. Somebody tried to rob me.
And how old are you now?
I may be 21, 22, 21.
So you didn't have the baby at the time yet?
I had just had my son.
You had just had your son and then got shot?
Yeah. I got shot at the dice game. Somebody was trying to rob me. They tried to set me up.
So let me ask you this, and this is what I'm just thinking. When it comes to being someone who's in the street, who's robbing people, you don't always remember who they are, right?
No.
You remember everyone?
No, I'm not going to say I remember everyone, but what you kind of do develop is an alertness that you just have about you where, you know, you canvassing everywhere that you at. Like I was, as crazy as it sounds, I was fortunate enough to garner the paranoia that I got from being a robber. That helped me, I think, survive when I started selling drugs. Because there were a few situations where shit could have happened to me bad, but I was so alert that it didn't pan out the way people thought it would. But that was from me being so paranoid from what I used to do. My head was always on a swivel. I'm always, back to the wall in the restaurant, so I'm facing the door, canvas a place when I go in there, when I move. And one thing I can say about me, I have a very, very photographic memory, and I may not remember somebody's name, but I won't forget faces. I'm a real, like I said, I don't even gotta know you, but if I see you enough, I know your face. You know what I mean?
I got that packed down.
You know what I'm saying? And I know that that's just an innate ability I have, because even now, I do security, and that's part of that helps me with the same. Yeah.
Right.
If I gotta go look for somebody, I could literally, somebody could come to the door and they could be like, the dude that had on the such and such, and I could literally go and like,
oh yeah.
I know what he looked like.
Gotcha. Wow. So now, it's a love thing your parents are going through the job, man.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
So now, God was today. So now your brother is getting murdered out of state. You're home. You now have a baby. This was with somebody who was actually
this is right. It didn't just happen. This was like over a span. So like, I have my son. You know what I'm saying? I get shot. He's going out of town. I'm actually on parole at the time that I get shot. I told you I just came home.
Yeah.
So I'm on parole and I get shot. So how crazy is this? The same parole officer that he had, shout out P.O. Gaddy, became my PO.
Wow. I
don't know if that got worked out, if he because he built a good rapport with my brother.
Right.
And like I said, I don't know if they worked. He told him to look for my kids, but I wanted to have the same PO. And when I got shot, he put to him and told him, listen, he's gonna get himself jammed up here. Let me take him out of town.
Wow.
Because he left New York.
Oh, it was a wrap.
He was living in Washington.
So he was really trying to explain to you, it's up.
Yeah.
Let's go.
We have
nothing here for us.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So he was like, let me take him. And he said, you know what? Go ahead. Go ahead. Not knowing that
was gonna happen.
He was sending me right to the, you know what I'm saying, the devil's den.
Wow.
So I went, you know what I'm saying, and like I said, I went down there, and after a while I got engrossed in what my brother was, you know what I'm saying, doing. And, we we trying to be Scarface.
That's what I was thinking. I probably should.
Yeah. we try to be Scarface because remember, like I said, we talking about the 90s here, 80s, early 90s. So this is when it wasn't hard to fathom somebody having $1 million cash in your house. This is the time of the Nicky Barnes is clicking and the fat cats in New York is crazy and the crack epidemic is at its peak, and so it wasn't crazy for you to be saying we gonna fuck around and we going, you know what I mean?
Like kings.
Yeah. Your first time seeing a crazy amount of cash, you know what I'm saying? You're like, wow. You know what I'm saying? You can't
really
believe
ours.
it. Yeah.
This is really our crib. This is really our
my
cause.
brother with bags of money in and I'm like, so when I first went down there though, I'm still see, like, don't come down there. You're gonna make it hot.
Right.
You're gonna cause problems. So down there for a while. We ran a couple of dudes from up there down there. We doing whatever. And then I get locked up. But I get
out there.
Yes. And this time it's defense.
Oh. Explain how that goes.
Yeah, so you got state jurisdiction and courts and cops and things like that. Then you got federal, which is a whole different set of laws. And the crazy thing about them is like they kind of make up their own laws. They have a whole different system of rules and everything. So you might think you know state law like the back of your hand, and you might, but some of that stuff won't even pertain to federal court. They'd be like, what are you talking about?
So now my question is, how does it get to that place of it being picked up? Because it has to be picked up by the feds, right?
Well,
that means y'all are at a certain bracket.
Again, they can do what they want. At the end of the day, they can do what they want. And I say that simply to say that when I initially had got locked up, remember, like I told you, I have been locked up before once in New York. So when I initially got locked up, they chased me. They set me up with somebody. Somebody called me to get something from me. A dude from New York.
Wow.
Crazy. It could be. So a dude from New York called me, and here I was paranoid about the Delaware people. Wilmington. We don't know these niggas. We don't know these niggas.
Right.
The only from the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Got caught with something. Couldn't hold his own way. Lined me up. But the crazy thing is when he lined me up, the police, and I had dreads at one time. Me and my brother, we had dreads. So they used to call my brother Big Dread.
Oh.
And they used to call me Dread.
Got it.
Some people used to say Little Dread, but some of them would just say Dread. So when he told them he'd be copping from dropping Dread, I'll be copping from Dread.
Oh.
They thinking about
Big Dread.
Yeah. Because he was their lawyer. So he's the one that really put the foothold and did whatever, you know what I'm saying, had everything smashed. So I just came on the end of it, and then I kind of branched off too, but they thought, you know what I'm saying?
Big time.
Right. And no, they thought I was him.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, when he said, and they didn't even know it was two of us. So in their minds, when the cops on the south side is him and Dread, the cops on the west side is him and Dread.
Not knowing it's two.
So they just hear him Dread. So they think he's one person. So he tell them, I can get y'all Dread. So they're like, oh yeah, all right. They wound up with me.
Right. Like they wound up with the little guy who just came on the scene.
Like literally when they caught me that night, the police, one of the police was like, we got him, blah, blah, something on the radio. And a cop came and looked at me in the car and said, that ain't him. And they was like, what you mean that's him? He like,
definitely not. That must have been a crazy moment for them.
That's not him. And then one of them, light bulb, he said, "Oh shit." I said, "What?" He said, "It's two of them."
That is
it was a school face moment.
Facts like that is that's what I that's what I thought about. I was like, that is insane.
They said it's two of them. And
you know
what I'm saying? So they you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
At this but how crazy is this? This was the point where my brother was like, "We gotta chill." You know what I'm saying? Like it's they own us for real.
Yeah.
We gotta chill, and he was trying to figure out a way for us to leave up right.
Yeah.
So he started buying property. He had bought a house. I was like, "Yo,
still in Delaware?"
Yeah.
Okay.
What we gonna do is we gonna start buying houses out here. We gonna fix them up. I had went away to job corps at some point too, and when I was incarcerated in the feds. I got a trade, associate's degree in small business management, and I got a trade in building maintenance.
Nice.
So that's the crazy thing too, man. Not to get off subject, but the prison system is so crazy because one minute they'll be saying they want to rehabilitate people, but then the next minute they'll take away every program that can rehabilitate someone. So how do you expect the person?
Sound like gentrification.
How can you expect the person that has no skills, no job experience, no job history to just come home after they've paid their debt to society, have a hard time getting a job because they've been incarcerated? You expect them to be a functioning member of society and just do the right thing off the break.
With no skills,
you know
no education.
And it's just
it's a setup.
Like I said, I got an associate's degree when I'm free. When I went in, because when I went in, I was brainwashed. I really thought, because I thought that because I had me a little bit of money, that I was going to be in there for a little while, and then I was going to get out. I literally was in there when the district attorney was talking to me about rolling over on people, talking to him like I was Scarface. I'm dead serious. I'm in there, he talking about, he said, "Let me tell you something. I don't think you're bad, bro. I think you're pretty intelligent too. I see you've been in school,
because they know your whole life."
He said, "But I can promise you, you're not smart enough to play with me in this court. Because this is what I do for a living."
Right.
He said, "And I'm promising you that if you do not cooperate with me, I'm going to throw you in a hole so deep that by the time you figure out how to get out of it, 20 years will be the past you by."
Dang, my chest got tight.
Right? He said that with conviction. Like he meant it. Like, yeah.
This is what I do.
Yeah. I don't care how smart you are. And if you can dig yourself out the hole, it's going to take you an awfully long time. And I said, "You know what? My lawyer is so good that by the time we finish with this trial, you may be working in Alaska." So Judge Warren, he says, "Oh, you're a comedian. You think we playing?"
Right. Got it.
"I'm going to show you that we're not in that." I said,
"Dang." He said, "Let's go."
Sure. Because in my mind, my lawyer
I got money.
Is one of the greatest state lawyers in Delaware.
Look, state, and they're going to work.
At the time, though,
right.
I don't know.
Money. Right.
This dude is a beast in the state.
In the state.
He got a 97%
win
rate.
In the state.
Yes, I'm like, yeah. So he's like,
"Let's go there."
He tells me, "I'm guaranteeing you the most time they're going to be able to give you, the max they could give you is 7 years. They chased
That's
me
what
down.
your lawyer said to you?
Yes,
Oh.
they chased me down. They chased me down, and they found a baggie with about 32 grams of crack in it. After they caught me, they went to my girlfriend at the time's house.
This is the baby mother?
No.
Okay.
This is a girl in Delaware that I met, started messing with, and going there with her. And they kicked her door in. They found, mind you, I had just came from the crib getting rid of some stuff. Mm-hmm. And they found a warrant in the crib. They found the gun in the crib, but it wasn't no clip for the gun. You know, they locked her up. There's another girl into it. They locked them up. They found a little bit of money or whatever. And this is where they play games. This is what I mean by the feds do what they want. So the amount, even with them being the feds and running down on me and catching all of that, whatever, the amount of drugs that they caught me with wasn't enough to go to federal court. So what do? The gun they found in my girlfriend's house, they said, is his gun. So now, I'm a convicted felon with a firearm, which is a federal charge. So they put me in federal court. But here's the kicker. They put me in federal court because of that. Then as soon as we get in federal court, they throw the gun out because the lease is not in my name. Mm-hmm. They could not prove that I lived there.
Yeah, I tried it.
Because they told me where your keys at.
Word. Yeah. What are we even talking about?
I ain't got no keys. Yeah. So they couldn't prove that I lived there. But so my lawyer was like, if they can't prove that,
what are we doing?
Why are we in federal court? And she said, because they're allowing the gun to be thrown out. He said, no, they're not allowing it. They can't charge them with the gun. They can't charge them with the gun. She said, well, they brought the charge up, so you're in federal court now. And there's also other evidence that they're presenting. And the officer said that I had literally said to him, when they caught me, y'all too late. The 2 keys of crack that I had is gone. That's what I got convicted for. That's what I was convicted for. And if I'm correct, the phrase that they used was, that's called the preponderance of the evidence. And what that means is, unlike in the state, in the court of law, you're innocent until proven guilty. You are guilty until you can prove to them that you're innocent.
Yeah. Y'all still want to be playing these games? Y'all want to be playing these Scarface games? Because that is crazy.
Yeah. So, my whole procedures was nuts. My lawyer was a good lawyer. He was a great lawyer. He did his best. He was so distraught about the decision that came about that he gave me back some of my money. Wow. He was like, I never in a million years thought they could do that to you.
Yeah, he probably felt so crazy.
In a million years thought that they could do that to you. I'm sorry. I know what happened with your brother. Because then my brother, right after this happened, and I lost my pills and all of that. Right before I got my pills, my brother had got killed. And he was like, I know about the situation with your brother. Listen, you need me to do your appeal just because I botched things up. I said, you didn't botch nothing up, man. We both didn't understand, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, that's your first federal case. Yeah. And he was like, honestly, yeah, I've never been to federal court. I was like, that's nuts. You need to get you a federal team. Something. Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying?
That can't happen.
But I guess, again, the feds may have just came to town. Mm-hmm. So that's how they do. They town jump. Whenever the ratio of they start checking like how much activity is happening, if there's really weight, things are like going. They do all types of big investigations. You don't know how in depth they get with that stuff, but they really get in. And then, like I said, they'll be in Delaware here for 6 months. Then they leave Delaware to go to Baltimore. And in Baltimore, they go to, and it just be different task forces, and they bring people in. And like I said, they focus on at the moment who's the ones in the right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
wow, that is
So like I said,
so you end up doing 15 years from
my
that
lawyer.
phrase.
They gave me actually, bless you, 292 months, which is actually 25 years and 7 months. That was my original sentence, and a couple of laws had changed, which allowed me to get back in court and give some time back. And ironically, one of the ways that they had a hard on for me because I wouldn't cooperate. When you don't help them, it's crazy. How crazy is this? When you help them, they don't respect you.
Right.
They want your help, but they always you're nothing. You're a fucking rat. Even to them. You're a fucking rat. You don't got no heart. You don't got no balls. You gonna do what the fuck we say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you don't help them, they hate you. You know what I'm saying? And they try to
either way
to fucking ruin you, right? Yeah. So it's like, you know, like I said, I'm brainwashed. I got me a couple of dollars. You can't tell me. Scarface. Yeah, I'm good. I'm Scarface. I'm gonna sit in here for a little while, but everybody sit down for a little while. This ain't nothing. Right. It's like that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? So he told this is how screwed up my mind was. And this is a lot of dudes in the street. Like so many things influenced by our minds get like this. When my lawyer said to me, I could get you 7 years, you know what I said? That ain't bad. I could do that. 7 years? All right. Let's do it. No. Nobody should feel like that about fucking prison. Like a day away. They even had a baby. A day away from your family is like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? And
wow. So the laws changed in your favor, where they had to
reduce my sentence. So they this, and now I'm gonna go into my starting to my observation is starting to have my rapport with the higher power, because these are the moments when I started like witnessing for myself firsthand that omnipotent force is real. So again, I got sentenced, got 292 months. I'm still brainwashed. I'm in court, so they talking, this and that, you know, and told you I'm smart, but I really the math don't really hit all the time. So the judge says da 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 da, and da 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 da, blah blah blah, this and that. But he says, my lawyer puts up such a good case that the judge says, I'm going to sentence you today the way I'm going to sentence you because I am forced by the guidelines. So in federal court, they also have a book where they have guidelines of how you're getting sentenced depending on what your crime is. And the judge cannot stray. He can't go under. Right. What they say, the recommendation usually comes from the district attorney. So he's like, but in my mind, the time being distributed right now is not for the crime. And if it's anywhere in my power that you can find something that reverse this, I would gladly work on the reversal, and I would gladly sentence you, because in my eyes, the things that they presented to me today is not enough for the time that they give me.
Dang, the judge saying this.
He said, but again, my hands are bonded, so and he gave me the bottom of the end part. He didn't give me the high part. He said, so I'm gonna sentence you to the low end of where you are on the table. And I got 292. So when they said that, so I was like, all right, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if I was thinking he was saying weeks.
Months? I mean, weeks.
Saying weeks or something. Like, but I was like, all right. So my lawyer said, no, you're not. What the fuck is you talking about? Did you hear what he just said? He said 292 fucking months.
You know what?
Yeah, we start. He rolling the he's like 20 something. Mm-hmm. I said, yes. And he said, yes.
No.
And I said,
we gotta write this movie, man, because what?
So I said,
what is happening?
I'm
you still.
I'm gonna get back. I got money. I'm gonna be back on the pill. Because they didn't have nothing.
That's how you felt.
They ain't got nothing. Yeah. They did all of that. They trying to talk about this big drug dealer, but they got 32 grams. If it's that.
Y'all know what 32 grams look like?
So I'm like, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be all right. So the DA looking at me. So the judge is talking. I look over and he goes, and I say to him, I'm still brainwashed. I'm there.
DA like, just do this secretary.
Yeah.
He's definitely crazy.
He's like, this was enough.
What?
But yeah, so they want me out of whatever, and I get in there and I'm just like, fuck it, yo, I gotta do this bit. So I'm communicating with my brother here, and my brother's telling me, he's like, yo, bro, don't worry, I'm gonna get you out of here. You know what I'm saying? The last thing I do, I don't care what I gotta do, I'm gonna get you out of here. So I'm like, it's all good. He felt bad because he found out that they was looking for him. Really, they thought, you know what I'm saying, it was him. But he's like, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna get you. And then he wanted me to get killed. And then after he got killed, that's when the lawyer reached out to me. He's like, yo, I know what happened to your brother. He's the one paying for the fees and all of that. Yo, I'm gonna give you the money that he gave me back because I don't feel like da-da-da-da.
He knows crazy.
He's like, and if you need me to do your appeal, da-da-da-da-da-da. He did the appeal for me, I lost. And I just was in there now, like, fuck it. I'm in here. I'm just, I gotta do this time. And I was fortunate enough, about the first year, maybe year and a half, I played around. I'm in there playing basketball. I still got a little money in the street. So, they send me money. My books is full. You know what I'm saying? I'm buying every sweatsuit, every sneaker. Because I'm in there. I'm still in the street. Them first couple of years you get in there, it don't really set in sometimes that like
this is home right now.
Yeah, you ain't here for the long haul. You ain't going home next week. You ain't going home next year. You know what I'm saying? So you get in there and the reality starts kicking in when you start meeting dudes that got 2 life sentences. They never coming home. They got 67 years. Like you hear it is like
you like, wait, what?
You got what? Like I got 20 something, 200. What they gave you? I mean, what's this stuff? Like damn, you know what I'm saying? And realizing that you're meeting dudes that are never coming home ever again. They're going to imagine being in prison knowing that you are going to die in there. Everybody is going to leave you by choice or not, because people die, people get sick, people lose employment, people move on with their life. So even somebody that want to be there for you, an accident could take them away from you. You don't got them anymore. A disease they could get cancer, they could take them away from you. You know what I'm saying? Where they're not able to visit you or come or do things for you. So with a life sentence, everybody at some point is going to leave.
Drop off, yeah.
So, I couldn't even wrap my head, but I think God wanted me to see that. Because these are some people that it's their first time locked up.
And that's it.
They ain't never been locked up for nothing else in their life. They locked up on a case. They in a conspiracy where there's 30 people that said 5 of them said, yeah, well, I got it from him. And he got it. And not. So you got life. Oh, you was the leading organizer. You was the one doing this and this and that.
Over.
Life. Natural life. Not no life like in Louisiana or people where life is 25 minutes. No, natural life, you're not coming home no more. Where you're going to see the team, because like every 6 months or something, like they evaluate you for a point system in the system, and if your point system is high, you're in the higher security. As it goes down, you're in the lesser security and more privileges. they have a point system where um, how you should be housed, how you should be what facilities go to. Yeah. Okay. So if you are a violent inmate, you got violent case, there was violence in your case, you had a gun before, this and that, they want you in a high level. They want you in the pen. They want you around people like you. They don't want you around the blue collar dudes or they don't want you around them because you might intimidate them. You might absolutely. So we're gonna put you where you belong. We're gonna put you with your kind. And if you chilling, and you can show them that you chilling and you going to school, everything brings your point system down. So you go to school,
so you kind of start with an A.
Certificates, right? Yeah. And okay, you work your way down. So now we ain't gonna put you in the pen. Now we're gonna put you in the high. Oh, you worked your way down from the high. Now we're gonna put you in medium high. Medium high, medium. Medium, low. Low, 10. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you work your way down to get to better places. Because like the lower you go, the less security it is, the more freedom it is. You're not getting like the highs, the pens, all of that. You're going in the cell. Cells is locking. You know what I'm saying? When you with your cellie, da 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 da. Mediums, they start to branch out a little more. Instead of just 2-man cells, they might got 3-man cells and 5-man cells. And you're able to integrate with people a little more. They got TVs in the unit. You can watch TV and they have the late night. Fridays and Saturdays, you stay up late and that. Then you go down again and you ain't in cells no more. You got doors now.
So it was like, oh.
Yeah. Fort Dix was the last low that I was in. I got caught with a cell phone and they sent me to Beaumont in Texas, which is another high.
Dang. But so you was in Jersey and they sent you to Texas because of the phone?
Anytime you get, because they felt like it was a breach of security. Anytime you have electronics or things like that, and you're not telling where it's coming from, they always figure a CO might be in it. So just to eliminate, if that's the case, they send you to another coast. When they get in trouble on the West Coast, they send them here, and when we get in trouble here for certain things, they send us over there. That's part of your punishment, because now it's also a hardship on your people to come see you. And it's like, so you live in New York and you here. You got people in Delaware, you got people in New York, and you here in Jersey, and you doing shit. Since you don't care about that, let us help you out. Wow. You know what I'm saying?
So what was that like?
So, it was an experience. I could honestly
what was the worst?
Oh.
I guess when you first came.
Actually, I was locked up for a while. Like I said, I went in with the wrong mentality. I'm not scared to be in jail mentality. I'm here. You know what I mean? I was fortunate enough in my first couple of years to run into a couple of dudes that I built rapport with that legitimately cared about me. And they started saying shit to me like, you really gonna just sit in here and do 20-some fucking years in jail?
Oh.
You content with that? You all right with that? Because you just give it, you don't care? I'm like, nah, but like I ain't no lawyer. They're like,
what can I do?
Why you? Because you ain't a lawyer, that means you can't study law. That means you can't live a case. The people that's lawyers now wasn't lawyers before they became lawyers.
Okay, with the bars.
I was like, okay. So they're like, where your case at? So I gave them my stuff. They looked good. They tell me, all right, we're gonna help you because you're not hot. And hot is if you told us about it. Oh. So they like,
oh yeah, I thought we want you to tap into that too. Because I know they check people's paperwork.
Yes.
And I recently was told that.
Yes. Any jail.
So then what happens is you is hot. Like,
well, it depends on where you are at.
Some places a hot dorm?
Yeah. Hot, if you hot, you know what I'm saying, you got a 5K1, it's another statute that they got to people to tell. But if you're somewhere and they find out that you hot, it depends on, like I said, what type of jail it is. In a low, nobody might not do nothing, but they just might not mess with you. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of alone.
But in a high or a peg, they might be like, you gotta go up top. You can't stay here. You can't be out here.
And so that means like you're in danger because a lot of them who doing life and all this probably because somebody told them.
Right.
Lied.
So they don't want you around. You know what I mean? And high profile people to tell they even got a separate whole unit for them. Where they just go and they with everybody in their zone. So they're good in there. But like most jails, you come and in most prison systems they got like what they call cars. And cars are wherever you're from, all those people are called in that car. Okay. So it'll be like when I went to Texas, it was a New York car. Everybody from New York was in this car. Things differ too when you go on other coasts because on other coasts, you are the minority, meaning New Yorker, not black, just New Yorker, because they don't like us a lot of other places. Right. Real rap. People can say what they want. People just for some reason, you know, I used to always have to tell dudes. I had to tell dudes, whatever the New York dude did to you, it wasn't me. Right. Somebody from New York had to do something to you for you to be just hostile against
they
New
just
York
want to think we cocky. Something that is weird.
So, but that's what. So you got cars. So everybody in Texas, with the New York car was everybody. Jersey, Connecticut.
Oh, like tri-state.
Everybody was all together because you might have 3 dudes from Jersey out there. 3 of y'all can't be no car. Y'all ain't a force of nothing.
You need more people.
You ain't a force
we don't
of
believe
nothing.
you.
So they have no problem with saying like all of us got to be together because on the West Coast they into that gang culture thing too, man. The Mexicans is heavy. Yeah. The you know what I mean? The Southern guys this their backyard. So, you know what I'm saying? The majority of the jail is that. Gangs and the black Southerners that live there. Right. So, you know what I'm saying? But when you go, they move you now from Texas, you go back to the East Coast, it's a Boston car. It's a New York car. It's a Jersey car. It's a Connecticut car because it's enough people to be
have their
own little thing. Wow. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but yeah, so they looked at my stuff. They said you're not hot or whatever, and said you need to get some of this time back, but we're not going to work for you. Don't nobody know your case better than you. Look over your case and start finding things that don't make sense to you. Just don't make sense to you, and then look into them. And I was fortunate enough, like I said, to have a few people helping me and looking for a few things, and I found that the DA, when they sentenced me, they were supposed to sentence me to a flat 20 years. They had a statute where they could have gave me a flat 20 years for my conviction, for the amount of drugs they were saying, and me being a convicted person and the amount of drugs. There was another statute that they could use to give me more time, but it would only extrapolate on the drugs. So they chose that statute because they wanted to give me the extra 4 years and 7 months. Because I didn't have fuck the flat 20. Give them this.
He was coming for you.
But how crazy is this? The same statute that they used was the reason I was able to get the time back. Because the law changed and said that 100 to 1, which was a ratio that they had where 100 grams of coke was the equivalent of 1 gram of crack. And that's how we were getting sentenced. 30 grams of crack for me was 30,000 grams in court for them. So somebody can get caught with 30 grams of coke and get 10 years, and I get caught with 30 grams and get 10 years too. They can caught with 30,000 grams. I can caught with 30. So
wow.
They
figuring stuff out, man.
Yeah, the ratio had changed, and I'm wind up. Somebody was like, "Oh, they probably not gonna give it to you." You know, it was an older dude. It's the Oriaki.
The OGs.
It's the Oriaki. After he kept saying, they cannot sentence you to both statutes. They're trying to, one thing they say and they sentence you to one thing, but then this paper would say they sentence you to, they cannot do that. It's one or the other. Right. So if this was what they said this, but when you got sentenced, they used this. Because it's like when they got in court and saw that I was only going to get 20, but this could be 24, he switched it.
Right.
Oh, he switched it. He had
knowledge is power.
He had paperwork that said this, but then in the court he changed the paperwork and made it say
like they ain't gonna know this.
Right. He changed it. And
how many people though? How many people?
And I found out, like I said, so when they changed the ratio, it took 67 months off my sentence. It went from 100 to 1. I think it went down to like 50 to 1, something like that. And then another one came out when Obama got in office, and he made it from 50 to 1 to 18 to 1. That was, and everybody kept saying, "You got the first one, we ain't gonna get the second one."
That's why
you're wasting your time.
You don't listen to everybody.
Mom, stepmother, God bless her. She kept telling me from the very moment that I got incarcerated, and I told her how much time I had, and she said, "Stop saying that." I said, "Mommy, I'm just telling you what she said." She said, "Yes, she is. She very. She said, you saying it is like you claiming it. Don't claim that. If people asking you about what's going on with you with that, tell them you're going to be home soon. Or you got to believe that. You're not going to do all that time they better say they're going to do. I know you're not going to do it.
Come on, God.
But you got to believe that you're not going to do it. And just be patient." And I took that to heart. You know, I started telling people, they'll ask, "Oh, you come home, you come home." Some people look my kids and, "Oh my God, you got 25 years." I say, "Yeah," they said, "but I got some stuff happening. It ain't like that." Man, like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? That people couldn't believe that I even got that much time just for drugs.
Right.
Like after a while, you know, a couple of years have passed, so I'm getting to talk to people because I'm getting in contact with a few people there and there, whatever. You know, people like, you know, I'm like, man, you know, like, you could tell us now, like, it's over now, like, you know, what else you really did? You shot a couple of people there. Like, you had to do some other stuff.
But it is unbelievable.
Ain't no way you got no 25 years just for no fucking drugs. Are you serious? And they ain't even want to catch you with no drugs. Like, so, like, yeah, it just was trying to, like, break down the dudes, like, yo, this it's like they bugged out. Yeah, they gonna move and listen and that, but here we are again, still trying to beat the system. So I'm like, but in the law book it says if you only got this amount of drugs, you only could get sentenced to this. So if you're gonna have it on you, just have this amount because they can't do this to you and that. Like this is what you
mentality.
Because you get it, it's still like there's nothing left. But again. Not all of it. It's about what you absorb. I was also around people that were saying, "Dang, all of that, 25 years for that little bit." Well, this is my case here, right? So I stole $22 million, and I stole from this company, and they caught me, and they wanted to give me 2 years if I gave back half of the money. I told them I didn't have the money. And so I get 5 years now. So I got 5 years, so 22 years. And when I get out, I want to leave the country and never come back. And I'm saying, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, but again, still bad because still thinking crowd. Yeah. Still thinking crowd. And but that's what and that's as crazy as it sounds, they put us in there because they say in the fast because they say we are the master criminals. we're not regular criminals anymore. Like once you reach a federal level, you're doing things that they feel like regular criminals aren't doing.
You know, that does make a lot of sense.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I've seen
You're
that even
smarter
where
than
I
the
work.
average criminal.
They be like, I'm federal. I'm like, what's that mean?
Yes.
Like, I be annoyed, but now I get it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I was like, and like I would be yelling like, get on my window.
Like, you know, that's organized
So
crime.
I'm like,
Organized crime.
wow.
Big time scam, multi-million-dollar embezzlement.
You're like the bougie of the
right,
criminals.
Exactly. And they always feel like your mind is always turning into the next. They had a dude.
The next lick.
And it's crazy, but they had a dude in there. It was a computer dude, in some type of way.
Recently.
This was when I was in there.
Oh wait, no.
The dude was a bad computer dude, and he wound up getting into Unicorn. So Unicorn is a factory that they have in the federal system where people work. That's one of the best jobs actually you can have in the federal, because you actually get to get a little piece of money, like a decent piece of money for a man, because in there you are allotted the time to shop, but for the month you're only allowed to spend $290.
Oh.
Once you spend that $290, you gotta wait until the next month for you to shop again. Right, okay. Because you don't have no more store credit left. Right. You have to have enough store credit, which allows them to have stuff in there for enough people to be able to buy stuff. Because let's just say I was allowing you to buy $5,000 worth of shit. Right. Now some people might not get certain stuff. Right. So and then it makes everybody also you're equal. Mm-hmm. You got 292. You only got two. You only can buy that much. You only can buy. Right. So it's that. But they don't know people go around there too, because people send money to other people and they shop for them.
They can find loopholes in everything.
You ain't getting no money? You don't get no money in those? All right, I'm get my people to send you $300. $50 is for you to keep, and you're going to go to the store for me and spend $250. Right. Wow. And I'm going to feed you. Mm-hmm. I got you. Know what I'm saying? I'll give you a little bowl here and there. You know what I'm saying? Hold you down if you need something. But and dudes that don't got, because there's some dudes in there, sadly, have nobody and have nothing. And they may be making the work of the job. Like I said, Unicorn was a decent job. There's a few jobs that you really, but most jobs in there, dudes is making $60 a month. Yeah. $60 a month. Mm-hmm. So between you having to buy toiletries, soap powder, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You turn around.
Life is hard.
So any type of dollar that a dude could go on there with dudes in there, that iron for dudes and dudes in there, just like, I would never, but they ain't just doing it like dudes is pumping them, like dudes is paying them. You know what I'm saying? It's $30.
They do what they be done.
But yeah, dudes is working, and you know, this is how a lot of dudes function in there and survive. Because like I said, after a while, you don't have nothing on, everybody needs you. So you have to figure out a way and try to fend for yourself. Yeah. Yeah, so wow. The computer dude got a Unicorn. And the Unicorn we was at before this was we were making chef uniforms, cook uniforms, the white uniforms, and we were making army uniforms. Mm-hmm. And this dude found a way where he started working in the office. He got a hold of one of their cards for the jail, for supplies and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And this motherfucker was ordering shit and sending it to people in the street and making money from the card. And they didn't know for months that he was doing it. And then an audit or something happened where it was like,
what is this?
It's like $47,000 like missing, like what? And found out it was him, and come to find out, he wasn't supposed to be around computers.
See that?
So somebody messed up.
Somebody
but still, this nigga was in jail.
Doing what he does.
Like,
doing what he does. He said, I thank you.
And mind you, again, like I said, this is the ultimate place where this is where you're going to decide your path. Because like I said, when my brother got killed, I kind of said to myself, I lost so much, you know what I'm saying? He got killed. My younger brother actually was down there when my brother got killed in the house. It was like a home invasion type situation too, what happened. So they shot my little brother also. He didn't die though, God bless, you know what I'm saying? He was, and again, that was another thing that let me know the higher power is real because the culprits that did what they did to my brother and his fiance, my little brother, they shot my little brother in the face, point blank, with a Glock. And the bullet hit him in the face, ricocheted off his nose bone, and came out his left eye.
Wow.
He has a glass eye now, but other than that, you know
he's
what I'm
supposed to
saying?
be out of here.
He's
You
fine.
know it.
The higher power, and had he not lived, the people that did it, because those people we knew.
Yes.
Those people we knew, people that, you know what I'm saying, that we had put down in Delaware with us, was in the street.
So it was from New York too?
Yes.
Good night with this.
Yeah.
What be wrong with y'all?
Yeah. And had he not lived, real rap, we might not even know that they did that because nobody was thinking them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You like, it gotta be one of them.
Initially, when it happened, people were looking for them, like, yo, you know what happened? Looking for them, like, yo, Dredd, somebody killed Dredd. Looking for them to tell them or find out what's going on, and they gone. They gone. You know what I'm saying? And so come to find out that they had did and all that, yeah. And like I said, he lived, like God smacked the bullet when it hit him, and he fell out
like an angel.
When it hit him, he went unconscious. So quite naturally, they seen him with his eye, or they thought.
Dead. Yeah.
2 hours after he left it, he sat up like the Undertaker.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? Was able to.
Wait, the baby mother died?
Yeah, they killed my brother. Killed my brother, shot my brother in the head, burnt him up in his car, took his keys, went back to the house. My brother's fiance, their son.
How old was the son?
Newborn.
Nah, what?
He was a few weeks old.
He was evil.
And her other son was there too. And when he heard all the commotion and stuff that's there, she told him to go hide in the closet. He went and hid in the closet, and she stayed home with the baby. So they brought her upstairs and, asked him all types of, trying to find out where the money was at in the house and all of this because, I guess they didn't get no information from my brother before they killed him. And so they was trying to find out where the money was at and all that. And when they just got tired of when they wouldn't tell them what they wanted to hit, you know what I'm saying, they shot my brother, then they shot her in the legs to try to see if she still say something. She told she didn't know nothing. And then they shot her in the chest twice and left her dead in the bed with the baby. Word.
No, that was evil, bro.
Word.
And so, what about her son?
Once my brother and the police came, you know what I'm saying, he comes out.
So how was he?
I think Jakir was, at that time, he might have been like 4 or 5. You know what I'm saying? 4 or 5. And like I said, my nephew, he might have been, if he was 6 weeks old, I was alive. 6 weeks, maybe 7 weeks old. They newborn.
So this kid had to come out of the closet, see his mother and his baby.
Well, I don't know if he saw them, because like I said, once the cops came in, he came out. They might not even. Oh,
okay.
He didn't come out until the cops got
there.
Like he heard.
Or they probably ended up finding him.
Right.
Yeah.
So he came out or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, they took my brother's side. And my brother called them. They came, got him, whatever. As soon as they got there, he passed out. My brother went to a coma for like a week and a half. He was in a coma for like a week and a half. They induced it too because they say he had swelling on his brain, blah, blah, blah. So a week and a half, he comes out of the coma. And when he comes right out of the coma, he says, the people that did it. Yeah. He said, they does such thing. You know what I mean? And,
what was that like hearing who did this?
Yo.
And you're in there.
All I kept saying to myself was, I blamed myself a little bit because one of the dudes involved was a dude who used to always be with me. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I was like, I feel like if I was there, it might not have happened. Or if I was there, I just really believe if I was there, it wouldn't have happened. But I also feel like if I was there, it wouldn't have went the way it went. It wouldn't have. It wouldn't have. It wouldn't have transpired the way it did because I was a different. I moved different too. And,
Yeah. How you were in tune with things.
Yeah, my you know what I'm saying? And
Spidey.
I always,
Spidey sense.
I always had a gun on.
Right.
Always.
And they would have known that about you too.
Yeah. I always had a gun on.
Whew.
You know what I'm saying? So, but it's
So
certain things that just would have thrown me off.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my antenna would have been up with them if I was at the house. But that was another thing too. I didn't used to be around my brother a lot either. Because of what we were doing, we didn't feel the need to be. Whenever we came together, it was like to hang out, or you know what I'm saying, like just be around each other, like to eat or do something. But like we didn't really just hang out around each other because, you know, we don't need to be in the same place at the same time where people could see us together and all of that. We wasn't trying to do that.
Which is clearly why they didn't realize it was two of you.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he came out his coma. He said it was done. You know, and I found out. Initially, I found out from at the time, my girlfriend. So they were calling up to the jail. Everybody was calling up to the jail. Quite naturally, they let me. They initially told me when they called me to the fucking when the pastor called me. I'll never forget this day. He called me in there and he said, you know, whenever they call you to the preacher, you know, you already like, what I never in a million years would have thought that. So he called me in there, I come in there, and he said, so, I got some bad news for you, you know what I mean? If you need to make a couple phone calls, you can be even after this, but I just wanted to let you know that we just been informed that both of your brothers are deceased. So I said, what? He said, we just got a phone call from someone, and they said that there was something happened and both of your brothers are deceased. So now I'm like, yeah, I need your phone. So now I'm trying to call people. Like,
how they messed that up?
But I think the cops said that to them initially because
to
they don't
protect.
know who, right?
Okay.
So,
all right.
So after that, my mother calls and they patch through so I talked to my mother. My mother tells me, I have not did it. The police just saying that because so I'm like, okay. But I'm like Big Red, and she like Big Red, they killed him. So I'm like, yo, I don't know what's going on, but like I gotta make a few phone calls. Like, but she's like, yeah, I'm on my way down there right now. So I'm like, all right. So
because your mom is still in New York.
Yeah. So she's like, I'm on my way down.
Travel. Oh my gosh.
Yes. So I'm still on the phone and my girlfriend. She's like, yo, I don't even know, but I know Big Red is dead. Yo, the house is, they found Big Red in his car. His car was on fire. They shot Big Red twice in the head.
That seems so personal.
If I had
to light somebody on fire after you shoot them,
if I had to be totally honest with you, I think my brother was telling them all types of SMD and all. I know my brother. Yeah. And I think when they try to be like, yo, you want, he's like, nigga, I ain't gonna do nothing.
He's like, do your worst.
Nothing. Giving y'all niggas nothing. Y'all niggas is cowards. Fat ass niggas.
He lit them up.
Yeah. So, that was just my brother. I feel that. Like you said, so, she said, I said, yo, find this person and this person. She said, she said, I'm hearing from a few sources that them niggas really had something to do with it. I'm like, nah. She's like, I'm telling you. I'm like, nah. She's like, I'm telling you. So I'm like, all right. So then I get in contact with like my brother's lieutenant, and he's like, yo, them niggas did that. I think them niggas did that. I'm like, why would you think that? He said, bro, everybody trying to find these niggas, and these niggas ain't nowhere to be found. And I heard, and he was like, and I heard the police had ran up in one of the dude's girlfriend's crib. He's like, why would they do that? You know what I'm saying? And come to find out, sure enough, my brother came out the thing and said it was dumb. You know what I'm saying? It was dumb. So, you know, my mom was dealing with that. At the time, too, she had been diagnosed with cancer. So she fighting cancer and she going through that. And, you know, I was lucky enough to have a few conversations with her before, you know what I'm saying, cancer overtook her. And she said, it was a high power again. She said, I'm like, worried about you. I can't be I feel so crazy. She's like, don't worry about me. God won't keep me alive until I see them boys that did that to my son brought to justice. So don't worry. I'm going to be all right. My mother passed away 2 weeks after the dudes got caught and got sentenced. Word. Yep. Word. She said the higher power. It was my mother. My mother went to the mission. That was her second time fighting cancer. And she stayed alive until that happened. You know what I'm saying? My stepmom said the stuff about
your time.
Don't accept that. Right. Don't claim that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta believe, blah 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 blah. You know, and, so I'm vigorously looking at my work. You know, my mind is getting a little more spiritual, and my decision making. Unfortunately for us too, we seem to make great decisions when we locked up. But that's because and guess what else you have? Clear head. Yeah. You ain't drinking.
That's what I mean.
You ain't smoking. Yeah. You ain't got so many distractions like
outside noise.
You know what I'm saying? So you get the and I was you know, and then like just fighting with myself, like, you know what you do. Like I said, I'm meeting people that are never coming home. Right. And I think, like I said, God wanted me to see that. Like, here you are, this your second time locked up, you getting a chance to go home. There's people here, they first time locked up, they ain't never coming home again. Like, this dude got 77 years, they showing you pictures. Everybody got their photo album, you know, big photo album, because they've been in there for 27 years, so they got a pic, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They show you pictures. You see a picture of them when they first came to jail. They like this shit. They young. They got all their hair, everything shit like that. And as they going through all the pictures, you start to want to visit them. And when you get like to the end to the back, now you see them and like they all right here. Or they got more here.
Ain't no visits.
They know, yeah. They just, you know what I'm saying? You like, damn, yo, like wow, like wow, like dudes is going to, like I was saying too. So many thoughts. They evaluate you every 6 months to see if your time, your points went down, where they can send you somewhere else, or tell you that you're doing good, and in this amount of time, if you do this is what I can do for you. You know what I'm saying? And they have on the paper, they have the date you got locked up, the amount of good time that you have, and your
good time meaning no troubles.
Right, you get in no trouble. So they have a good time release date, and then they have if you have to do all your time release date.
Oh, wow.
So, because you can lose good time if you're doing stuff in there. So, for the guys that have life, they don't even have that. Where it says, all they things say, for date come in, God, that's the only thing out of date, release, and other things says deceased. On the paper.
What?
Like, some of them don't even go to team because they ain't like, what I'm going for. To go look at the paper for them to tell me, yeah, you're still gonna be here, and you know what I'm saying, we can't send you to this lower level, and we can't send you to a lower level because you have to have under 20 years to get to a low. So the most they will probably get to is a medium high. Person with life has to always have fences around them. Always. Multiple fences. They cannot be in a place where they can just get out, because literally in the low end of camp, like literally,
y'all just out.
You can leave. You could jump over a fence.
You gonna be shot though.
And take off. No, ain't nobody. They gotta. a truck that goes around and checks the perimeter, but they don't expect you to do this. Remember, you've earned your way down here.
Oh.
So you're like, these lows and camps are some people that are, you're good. Like you're doing the right thing. You got
Still jail.
You got short time, but now mind you, would you really escape if you have 2 years left? And you hear where everything is at your leisure. I'm talking about the prison system is so wide open where you would think that Fort Dix was one of those jails where people in jail are saying, I want to go there. Because everything that people can attest to this now. I'm telling you, and people don't believe it till they hear it like from multiple people or they see it, because it's nothing like hearing the same story from somebody else that don't know them and telling you damn near the same thing. When I tell you that Fort Dix was the closest thing to being on the street but still being in prison that I ever experienced in my life. And I was at a couple of prisons, but that one there, cell phones, computers, MP3s, little studios. Mind you ain't supposed to have this stuff.
Right.
But people got multiple cell phones everywhere. Women doing sexual favors.
As in correctional officers.
The correctional office, nurses.
Oh, I forget about the
it's people.
I'm sorry,
it's mad people. Teachers, like it's mad. It's people around. So it's people around, and then some of the people from the low, as they time is going down and their points is going down, and they get ready to go to the camp. They can work on the camp. The camp don't got no fences around it. They work in the town. In fact,
in the town,
Fort Dix is on McGuire Air Force Base. You know, they have their own little town in the Air Force Base.
Right.
The camp works in the town. So the painting is done, the church need painting, the inmates is painting it. The McDonald's, the trash and stuff like that, the inmates is doing that. I'm telling you, the whole town is but because remember, the gist is we have to start getting y'all ready for society. So this is how you do it, by integrating you like this. And like I said, this was back when the prison system seemed like it was kind of about rehabilitation. College, you want to train, they had the NADI exam where you could be a licensed carpenter. They had the building maintenance course where you were a licensed building. They could literally teach you this course, teach you it was multiple trades, masonry, electrical, carpentry, plumbing, all of this where they teach you and they could put you in a maintenance environment and you could do maintenance for a building.
See that?
You know what I mean? And they really wanted to send you home with something other than an X.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Here, we ain't teaching nothing and giving nothing, but here now go be a productive member of society, even though you wasn't before you came in, and you got a felony too. Right. And everybody gonna say, oh, you got a felony. So
wow. Okay. So whew. Okay. So you ended up doing altogether 15 years.
Close to 15. I did 14 years and 7 months.
14 years and 7 months. What was so you ended up losing your brother, your nephew,
my
baby
brother,
nephew.
I didn't lose them.
The baby?
They didn't shoot the baby. They just left the baby in the
well.
He's alive. He's alive and well.
Oh my gosh! So both the kids
alive.
Both
the kids is alive and well. Okay. But my nephew,
all right, they wasn't that easy.
Yeah, my youngest nephew, he never seen his parents. Remember, he was a newborn, so he don't know.
He hears stories.
He don't even know what their voices sound like. Word, how crazy is that? And he looked just like my brother. He literally is a splitting image of my brother. They say, the reincarnation.
That's right.
So, you know what I'm saying? He looks just like him. Yeah, so they just left him in the bed. He's like, it's a baby. Yeah, tell him what's nothing. They didn't kill the baby because it was like,
my brain saw something else. I'm thinking like they shot them.
Yeah, they just shot her. Yeah, they shot her. You know what I'm saying? And,
So this little one had to hear his baby brother crying.
yeah, more than
He had to
likely.
hear gunshots,
Right.
his mother screaming,
But his
and all
mom
of that.
told him, do not come out of that closet unless I come and get you. Because she heard them downstairs talking about brother like, they were playing motherfucker. So she like panicking now. And
But can't do much because she's
right, she got a newborn baby. I don't even know if she knew if it was a joint in the house or not. Like, you know what I'm saying? But my brother was never around.
Right. That's why he
So
was
that's
first thing
why-
he was saying, what you need to go for?
And,
Which
that,
one
and
to go
then
for?
that's why too, when I got locked up, that's when they killed me.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they knew I wasn't available
Right.
to, or even retaliate. Because like I said, I wasn't with my brother, so they would have literally had to do something to my brother, then come do something to me, or
Right.
come do something to me first, and like this and that, and like one of the dudes that was with the dude, one of the dudes that we brought down there, because it was an outsider dude and a dude that we brought down there, and the dude that we brought down there, I don't think he would have brought the outsider dude around me because, like I told you, I didn't really fuck with him.
Yeah, Spidey sense.
If y'all wasn't cool, you ain't gonna be
Yeah.
hanging around me. I'm telling, don't bring niggas to don't bring
they do
nobody to my
that.
crib, none of that. So like I said, either if they were still gonna do it, which I don't know if they would, because a lot of stuff transpired when I got locked up. The dude was really, like I said, he was working with me. He was messing up money. My brother wasn't really messing with him. There was a bunch of stuff happening. So I don't know all the
So a lot
particulars
could
because
have
I
been
wasn't there.
involved.
Right.
Yeah.
Then my brother had argued with his girlfriend, disrespected his girlfriend a couple times. I know she's throwing fuel in, like, wow, you just let him, he was disrespecting you, you don't say
One of
nothing,
them.
all of that. So it's just a lot of stuff was transpiring, you know what I'm saying, and that could have added to that, but add on the fact that he might have been broke, he may have needed money. I heard he started messing with drugs a little bit. Like, there's so much stuff that could have been happening, but the things that may not have been happening if I was there, because I always made sure he was good. Like I understood that he was one of those dudes that he wasn't a good leader, but he was a great father. He was one of those dudes where he couldn't figure something out by himself, but if you laid out something for him and gave him instructions, he gonna follow to the T and get it done. Yeah. But by himself, he was a fucking nincompoop. Yeah. So, you know, my brother's patience was thin with that. Right. Swim or drown. Right. He did that to me. For a little while, he was spoon feeding me, man. He was like, all right, my nigga. Yeah. You see what's happening down here? Find your niche. Here, find your niche. Right. Gave me my little piece, told me, I don't want nothing back, man. That's your start. Right. But when you ready to go again, you gonna let me know, give me a brand. When I go up, I'm gonna bring you whatever back. So that's what I started doing. How your brother but that way, it wasn't just here, I'm getting it. Yeah, nah. He like, all right, you know, all that, give it is over. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You had a little moment, make something happen. And you know. So
now they end up getting sentenced. And all of them?
Two.
Or it's all it was only two.
It was only two.
So was it like a snitching thing, or he did this, or was it a back and forth
when
thing?
When they both got locked up now they both said the dude that came with us didn't do the shooting. He had the other dude do it. To me, that already says to me too, he was too attached to it. He couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't.
But that's what I'm saying. The whole two and then set on fire, it was a different energy. Right. So yeah, he couldn't
do it.
That was a lot.
Saying. And I know my brother was probably giving him a
like you really?
Like you, yeah. Like y'all I could kill my brother saying y'all better kill him. Y'all, you know, nigga. Y'all, yeah. Don't.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah. You playing yourself, boy. Watch. Like I could hear.
You gotta live with that too.
Yeah.
You gotta live with that.
So, yeah. So he wasn't a shooter. So he said the dude forced me to do it. He had the gun. My brother negated all of that though, because when they killed my brother, like I said, took his keys, killed them, lit them on fire in the car, then they went to the house. They was going to come up with the keys, but they said to themselves at some point, if we come up with the keys, we might raise antennas, because somebody might be like, Y'all ain't got no motherfucking keys. Or who keys I got?
Mhm.
And they, so he knocked on the door. I remember opening the door and lamb in. My brother asked him, "Where's my brother?" He said, "I thought he was here. That's why I came here." Shit. Yo, page him. Matter of fact, let me page him. Page my brother.
No one he going.
Page my brother. My brother paid him too. And start playing the game with him.
Nah.
5 minutes later, it's another knock at the door. He get up and go open the door for the other kid.
Wow. He get up.
Let him in. And
So, your brother, you say, your brother now having glass on and everything. You're still incarcerated. They catch the guys. How they catch them? Well, everybody was talking about who did it. Yeah.
they know, we know it's them.
Yeah.
So it ain't no, they on America's Most Wanted,
Mhm.
the whole shit.
Yeah.
They on their ass. Pictures of them, this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? They know where they are. They think they got no money. They ain't get no money out of the house. They can't
Wow.
find the money. The police found the money
Wow.
and take it off.
I bet.
And the piece of his mind.
We see a lot of it
So,
it's going viral.
Yeah.
A lot of these videos, these police taking
Yeah.
money. They ain't supposed to be doing that.
So they
Wow.
took it. They took it. No, they like this was a bust for them.
Right.
They found weed in the house. They found a lot of money. So they like, look, and I know they was kicking themselves in the ass too. It's like, but they didn't have no time to search it out. But they did. If they wasn't gonna do all that diabolical shit, they probably could have searched out.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But so they ain't found no money. They get caught because they ain't got no money to go nowhere. One of them got caught in North Carolina. The other one got caught in Connecticut.
They ain't had no plan.
Like,
No plan.
How you gonna plan with no money? You know what I'm saying? How you gonna plan with no money?
Why, bro?
So you know what I'm saying? So they both got caught, and like I said, they both said, "Well, he made me do it." They like, "Oh, I didn't know y'all. He the one that put me on to them and said
mastermind.
this and that." You know? So they know that was ever, and nobody was trying to hear that because I was just too. They didn't really care about my brother because, of course, they packed him ass in the street with the but his fiance. Her father was a senator
No, he
in
wasn't.
Delaware. Yes, he was.
Nah.
He was a senator. So he was like, "Yeah, I need them people caught and found."
Word. So she was somebody. That had to be handled. Ooh, oh, they messed up. They didn't know that?
If they wouldn't have killed her, real rap.
You don't think it would have went so hard, right?
Y'all killed her and left the baby in the bed with her?
gosh.
Y'all shot her and left her the newborn baby in the bed with her? That's what y'all did?
Nah, that
And then my little brother
different.
was a college kid. He never was in the street. So all he did was go to college. He was down. This happened around Thanksgiving. That's why I don't really think
Yeah.
doing this. I enjoy it because I get to be around family and things like that, but it always has a dark cloud over it. And like he went down there because it was Thanksgiving
Break
And
from
my
school.
mother was supposed to go too, but she got sick and wasn't down there. So the reality to me is, if my mother was down there, they possibly would kill my mother. Like I really roll that over in my head. Like these niggas might kill my mother. You know what I'm saying? And,
Yeah, and he a college kid. He ain't thinking these people
Yeah.
gonna hurt nobody. He playing the game. Ugh.
crazy.
Like this is crazy. So how much time did they get?
One of them got 87 years, and the other one got 60-something years. The one that got 80-something years is because he also had did something to somebody else while he was in Delaware, and when they caught him, they charged him with that too. And after he finished his time in Delaware, which he probably won't, but after he finishes his time, if he's still alive, then he got to go to Connecticut for another shooting, another killing that he did in Connecticut.
So that's the one that's from Delaware, not the one you born in.
No, he was from Connecticut and came to Delaware. So I guess after he killed the person in Connecticut, he was in Delaware. I now don't know whatever he's doing, and they ran into each other. That turned the kids little flunky or whatever.
Wow. Terms. And the one you voted got 67. What go? I don't want to touch that, but so you've had so much loss while doing this time. How do you come home with your faculties in order? Like how what?
Like I said initially, I lollygagged maybe that first year, but after that, I started studying. Like I said, I went to school. I got my associate's degree. I was tutoring. You know what I mean? I started taking all types of different trades because I was like, I might as well take advantage of everything that I can take advantage of in here, so that not only I was thinking about the good time situation too, but I also was thinking about when I get out. Because I'm promised myself, you know what I'm saying? Cried myself to sleep one night, all this shit happened, and I said, I'm not gonna never fucking sell drugs again. Like that was it. The loss that I took from that whole situation made me say, I am never gonna do, like I don't care how bad dire straits I'm in, that is not something I will not do again. You know what I mean? And I can't say nothing about robbing nobody. I'm just being real. Like, but the drug thing was dead for me.
It was really never your thing.
Right.
So that's what made
it was
crazy.
Just dead for me because it was like the only person that probably could have convinced me to get back into that is gone. Because that's my brother. We had our odds, but we always had each other back. It was like, bitch ass nigga, you was a bitch ass nigga. Mind your business.
Right.
Mind your business. So that's how we were. And you know, I said, hell, you know, my mother, I mean, here, I couldn't put her on the ground. I couldn't put you on the ground. Almost lost him. Like, everything that I garnered from hustling, I lost.
Right.
Money, clothes, all that was at my brother's house. When he died, you know, nobody was there to oversee nothing. People broke in the house and stole shit. Some of my sister-in-law people stole shit.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
The senator's daughter?
Yeah.
People?
You know, just because they was some of that people was still regular people
right.
You know what I'm saying? They like, oh, he dead? Like, they dead? Like, I bet they got some nice shit over there. Like, when y'all going over to the house,
how they was
so
living,
they going, you know, and they taking clothes, they taking, people just taking shit. Like, and they giving it away too, because, like, what they gonna do with it? They older and all, so they like, you know, take what you want. You know what I'm saying? They can't do nothing with it. So people was just coming over there, like I said, everything close. So they probably found my jewelry. Oh shit, they got this too, and gone. So, but then I said, after my, you know, get mine clear, this and that. I also want money first. Like, oh my god, I don't got nothing. Come on, nothing, this and that. But I feel like it wasn't nothing prosperous for me to build with that money. Not like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, wash all of that away and start from scratch. And then I literally, I had a little bit of money left, and I did the best that I could do. I tried to stretch it like I could, and I was still taking care of my children. So I had my son right before I had locked up. I was gonna grab, I had a daughter, and then I came home, and then right before I went to the feds, I had another girl that I was messing with.
So they all the same age?
No, one that my son is 30. Mm-hmm. He's my first. My daughter is 26, and my youngest daughter just turned 22 or 3, honey. 3. Yeah. So
this is before you started to stretch.
Right.
Okay.
Right before.
Right.
Right before.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? And I went away. So I went away. You know, I didn't even know. I didn't even know my youngest daughter actually at the time was mine.
Oh wow.
I was messing with the girl, but I knew she was messing with other people too. So I was like, nah, don't play.
Right.
But she was adamant. So I'm locked up for a couple of years, and one of my peoples is like, this girl keeps saying that this is your kid. You know what I'm saying? We wound up getting this straightened out, and she was my kid. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, wow. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I had a little bread left, so I'm pinching off, trying to take care of them too. Every, you know what I'm saying, month, one of them is getting a little more than the other one, but everybody's getting something, and I'm rotating. So if my son is getting $400 this month, they both might be getting $200. The next month, one of the girls will get $400, and he'll get $200, and rotate like that. So I did that until my money was dried up, and then I was hit. And I was like, I gotta figure it out. I don't really have a whole bunch of help. I don't have a big support system in the street. You know what I'm saying? And so I gotta figure it out. So I went to Unicorn. You know, a Unicorn was a job that you could make close to $1,000 a month. If you work them shifts, take them double shifts, they did piecework, do enough piecework, like you can easily make anywhere between $750 and $1,000, $750,000 easy a month. And mind you,
and they're doing better than some folks outside.
You could only go, that's a month, not a week. A month.
So they get nothing.
A month, right? But you can only spend $290.
Right.
So if I made $800, I spend $290. I have no choice but to save $500.
Right.
It's no choice. I can't do nothing with it.
So I might have to implement that in my life. I ain't got no choice to only spend this.
Yeah,
don't go in that store getting like yourself.
You can't. They tell you you're $290, but this is how people, like I said, I'm gonna send you $200. I'm gonna do this and that.
I see the
but once I got started getting my little money from them, I noticed that they a lot of people had like stores in different units,
right?
Where they give you an item and you gotta get them. They give you 2 items, you gotta get them back 3, or you give you 1, you gotta get back 2, or
like
whatever. Right. And so I said, I'm gonna get me a store. I'm gonna fill my store with everything that people be getting, and I'm not going to the store no more. Because once I do that one time and spend $290, I should never have to go to the store. So all I gotta do now is flip. And I can eat off what I flip and still replenish what I got. So I ain't nothing being old. So flip. So now I'm not even spending $290 a month. I'm saving. I'm saving and sending out.
So go that math teacher.
Word.
Shout out
saving and spending out. I'm thankful that I've always spent on. Ambition kind of got me making bad decisions, but it also is what kept me focused and grounded to do what I needed to do once my sentence was up. And I gave that time away, on my way back home. So after I had got both of them time cuts, and the reality hit in, like, it was like, when I got my time cuts, I didn't know they were coming. They were in the courts. So I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I was waiting, and then being that I had got moved.
Oh, because now you're in Texas.
Right. So all of that got to catch up to me. So it came out of the blue when it came.
Ooh, that feeling though. What was that?
Look, I'm like, oh shit. So one came through, now I got 67 months. I'm like, oh shit.
You remember what you was doing in that moment?
I was in my cell talking to my cellie Ed Mac, and they was like, they got mail call. The council called you. They got mail call though. So I came because counselor mail was different from regular mail call. So he's like, yo, it's mail call. But then he was like, yo, son, the counselor just called you too. So I'm like, all right. So I'm coming, and you know, they're doing mail call or whatever. And the counselor's like, yeah, you got mail in the office. This when I finish mail call, come to the office. I'm like, all right. Went to the office. He gave me the joint. I looked at it. So I'm like, what's on the course? I ain't even open it. I went to my son. I'm like, hey, open that, son.
Wow.
That's that. So he went in there, because you know, I might not want it. They might be like, no.
Yeah.
People open it and they like, your sentence has been upstairs, it stays, and you lost.
Yeah, you lost.
So he's looking on the joints and he's like, I don't know if I'm tripping or not, but yo, they should say you got a reduction, right? So I'm looking. So I'm like, yeah, but it ain't saying nothing. Like, where is that? We're like, it's just saying reduction is da. Oh. They know that. I'm like, it ain't no paper. Flip up the other paper. They were like, oh, it's something on the back. Oh. Flip it over. Hereby, therefore, this day, that 67 months is reduced with it. I said, yo, nigga, this my time card. He said, what? I said, yeah, nigga, they took off for the 67 months. I was like, oh, shit, bro.
Oh,
I'm happy for
gosh.
you. I'm like, yeah, nigga, told you, nigga. So here come my other man, Stacks. He like,
wait, what? He
said, yo, they gave you that joint? He said, yeah. He said, you probably ain't gonna get the second joint because they ain't gonna give you two. Look. You know they not gonna give you two.
Stay away from me. That, like, right? Get away from me.
But and the way he was right, because sometimes usually when they give you one break, you don't get the other one. But
come on, sir.
Like, my nigga, stop hating.
Sir,
my nigga, stop hating.
Yo, but
let them crazy. People tell me that.
Right, exactly.
He said, no, I just don't want you to get your hopes up and you know what I'm saying? You got one, my nigga. That's good money right here.
It's always like, somebody just like that, though.
So I'm like, yeah, whatever this is and that. And like, for real, like about 8 months went by, other people came.
So this time was you looking like, wait, let me go, they called me for the council?
He told me the papers. He said, you got more mail coming from the court.
Oh, he said it.
It's just catching up to you. And okay, I'll let you know. So I get it like 8 months later, he called me show up again. I got it. And I'm open.
You open it to them.
And shit said they taking about 47 months again. So altogether that was 114 months, which 120 months is 10 years. So they took off almost 10 years, 29 years to change.
Ooh,
and, you know what I'm saying? Like people was leaving, like literally people was getting some of them letters and like they was coming and saying like you gotta pack up right now. Like by 4 o'clock count, you can't be on this place. So whatever you got,
you not on that count at the 4 o'clock.
Yeah, you gotta get your stuff together because you cannot be like we're going to throw you out.
Yes.
At 3 something, you cannot be in here or inside this jail at 4 o'clock. So you know what I'm saying. So I was hoping for one of them letters. I ain't gonna lie, but I ain't get one of them. So it was like the month was off. So they was like, your date is going to change in the computer. You gotta just keep an eye on when your date's going to be. So I kept bugging the counselor after that.
Like, what's happening?
When they, you know what I'm saying? When they go, he's like, my name. They're not calling you in the mail. Stop coming in. I'm gonna tell you when they, you know what I'm saying, when it's ready. I'm like, all right. And then one day I was in New York. And they came. It was like, yo, you out of here tomorrow. Out of here tomorrow, go to your counselor right now. He's gonna give you all the paperwork and stuff you need. They gotta work out your transportation package, but you leaving tomorrow. So whatever you trying to get together, you need to get it together tonight. You are leaving this prison tomorrow. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, all right. So I went back to myself, like, yo, ass, I'm out. You like, where? I'm like, yeah. So he took. I had mad stuff. I was like, clearly take this shit.
Yeah.
So he was like, yo, leave it with me. I'm gonna mail it to your mom's crib, or I could mail it to my crib, and then you could pick it up from my crib. He lives in Cleveland. And
he lives in Cleveland?
Yeah.
Where you was supposed to be going?
I didn't know yet.
Oh.
Because I was supposed to be going back to New York, but I didn't want to move back to New York with any of my kids' mothers tapped out. I had a niece. So my brother that got killed, he got a daughter. This is his oldest child. She at the time she was living in Pittsburgh. So she says to me, she said, I'm just letting you know that I don't think you should go back to New York just yet. I said, why? She said, well, first of all, you don't really got no support system. All your immediate family really is gone, you know, and you don't got no job or nothing up there. I don't know if you got no job. She said, yeah, but then all the people you was getting in trouble with was up there. You know, the people that you was getting stuff from, this and that. And she was like, and I don't think that you should go home and stay with none of your kids' mothers because although they may care about you or love you or whatever, it's going to be a lot of pressure with you coming home with nothing. And I think they're going to have great expectations and like it ain't going to be what they want, and then they got the power to like get you in a bad situation. If they throw you out or this and that. So I feel like you should come stay with me because I'm your family and I'm obligated to be here for you. You know what I'm saying? You've always been here for me. You know what I'm saying? You're the closest thing I got to my dad. So you should need to come down here. I could get you a job down here. I get you situated where you could do your parole down here. And then once your parole is up, you save up enough money, whatever. And if you want to leave, you can leave. But if not, if you want to stay, you can stay. But if you want to leave, at least you have some money saved up. Whatever you're going to do, blah, blah, blah. So I said, you know what? You make mad sense. That's what I'm going to do. You know what I'm saying? You're right. You got a good head on your shoulders. She always been like that. Very, very studious, very acclimated with working and all of that. So I said, yeah, you know what? That'll be good for me. So I wound up making that choice, and I said I was going to Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh ain't that far from Cleveland.
Right.
So he's like,
God.
yo, I'm gonna mail the stuff and because he was getting ready to get out too.
Oh, I was about to ask that.
He was about 7 months short,
wow.
And I wanted to beat him. Mm-hmm. But he was before that. He knew, so he's like, yeah, 7 months, nothing. So I was happy. I was happy. I was delighted, and he took my stuff, and then I left out of there the next day with a net bag and a sweatsuit and some Air Force Ones. And they put me on the bus. I rode a bus back from Texas to Pittsburgh. It was a 3-day
I'm about to say, that's days, sir.
3 days. I slept maybe 11 hours. Rest of the trip, I was like,
oh my
God.
Wait a minute.
Every bus station I stopped at, I got off and called somebody. Yo.
Payphone.
Yo. Oh, one of my boys had just got out too, right? And he was in Kentucky. And we stopped in Kentucky, and I called him like, "Yo, boy,
wow.
What up?" He like, "Yo, what up? Yo, nigga, where you at?" I said, "Why you say that?" He said, "The lady ain't talk, nigga. Where you at?" I said, "Nigga, I'm at the bus depot." He said, "What bus depot?" I said, "In Kentucky." That nigga said, "I'm on my way down there right now." Drove down there, took all the money he had in his pocket out, gave it to me, gave me his MP3 player in my head, his headphones. Like, yo, where you at? I said, I'm going to Pittsburgh. So he's like, yo, when you get down here and get yourself situated, my nigga, look me up. You know what I'm saying? He rapped. He was my son Gilly. And he rapped, so he was like, yo, we got to get together. This, that, and the third, yo, make sure you get out with me, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's all I have in my pocket, but so your trip will be a little more comfortable on the road.
I got chills.
Word. So,
oh my God.
When I took my bus ride after my niece, and like I said, she hit God again. It's higher power. Mm-hmm. Before I went to prison, I had never worked an adult job in my life.
I didn't ask that question.
I had never worked an adult job in my life.
Wow.
I came home, and my niece had plugged me with an agency, job agency. And I came home, I didn't go straight home, I came home to the halfway house.
Oh, gotcha.
Because they still have to acclimate you.
To them what that
so
is.
The halfway house is when you're incarcerated and your time is up, but you still have to do some type of parole or probation, and they want to try to acclimate you into the right direction of, you know what I'm saying, being a productive citizen of society. So what they do is they put you in a situation where they got certain little rules, and they feel like if you can abide by these rules, then you probably on your own will be able to function and do the things that you need to do to stay out of prison, right? So you know might got a lot of time you gotta be in, but you get passes. So you get passes to go out to work, you get passes to go out to worship for whatever denomination and church you went to, you get passes to go visit your family, but everything is time allotted. So like I said, I had 6 months in there, so for the first 30 days, I couldn't go nowhere. But to try to get identification.
Okay, so handle your paperwork stuff.
And to try to line up job stuff. Okay. That's it. And back in. Mind you, that sounds bad, right? It's better than walking in the yard. Word. I was telling dudes, like, you know, like I said, we get so caught up in what people tell us. And you hear, oh, it's going to be hard when you go down there, or you ain't going to find no job, or this and this and that, and this and this and that. Like, it's a lot of negativity, but a lot of times people push their negativities on you, or what they feel like they're really speaking on themselves.
Say that part. And you know, y'all hear that, man? Come on. So, I might watch something in front of you. You know
what I'm saying? And I just refuse to hear any of that. And here I didn't have ID in Pittsburgh, and when I went to retrieve my ID, I'm giving them my social security number and I'm telling them my name, but they telling me
you're not an assistant?
That's not your name. So my name is Torvald Ryan Ford, but I got incarcerated as Torvald Jones, which is my mother's maiden name. And for many years, I thought that my last name was Jones, but it wasn't. My father's last name, but I didn't know this. So I had recently discovered this whole identification process. Because mine, again, I didn't have one identity.
But wait, time out. So your parents weren't married?
No.
Oh, because I'm like, why would you have your mother's last name?
No.
Yo, what?
No, they just were together forever.
Oh my gosh.
Never met. So.
Wait a minute. A Jamaican wasn't made to get married and have children? I'm in shock.
They did not.
They ain't make him.
They were together for years. Well, and then maybe because he was up here.
Or maybe because she was American too.
That too.
Okay.
That too.
Oh snap.
Yeah, because you
that
know.
Could be it. Because that's my brain was like,
far out,
they gonna make you right.
You're not from far and they want to do.
Right. Wow. So you had your mother's last name thinking you got your dad.
All this time, and so and now the council is going with me to DMV. I'm arguing.
Yeah, because this is different.
What? So she telling me, calm down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm here with you.
Yeah, I've done this before.
Calm down. I got you. Just chill out. So we go back, and she's going on this. So she says, "Why are you going so hard for?" They matter of fact, I'm lying. Let me backtrack. So they say to me, the first name is right, but the last name is incorrect. So I'm like, so what do y'all have to do? And they say, you tell us.
Oh.
So what do you mean tell you? So they're like, your first name is Torvald. Both of you, what's your mother's last name? So I said, my mother's last name is Torvald. My father's last name is Jonathan. They said, that's what your social security number is. So I'm like, what? Like, that's what your social security number is.
Yeah, because, not to cut you, but now I'm thinking, because why would you even be looking at your social security if you was a kid when you started getting in trouble? Oh, yo, that is different.
So,
wow.
She says, you know what? I'm like, yo, this is crazy. This is going to stop me from job searching. She said, no, I'm going to still send you out on your passes because I don't think it's fair that they just doing the ID thing wrong and it ain't your fault. She said, but why you fight so hard for this? I said, what do you mean? It's my name. It's my name. My money. She said, oh, you show me something. you what you want me to say. You see this? I said, yeah. So she pulls up the screen and she's inside the database for business system. So she goes, so watch this. She put Tom Jones in. She said, watch. She hit enter. My conviction came up for my robbery.
Yo, I got chills.
Right? So she says, watch this.
Bruh. I love God.
She put around for it.
Nathaniel.
She said, so why are you fighting for that? When you got this.
God pushed to the right person.
And that was my aha moment. I said, she said, so what you're going to do is, I'm going to give you a letter. I'm going to write these people, and you're going to get their identification with your father's name. And I did that.
She was black.
Yeah.
All that energy was a sister.
The next day, I had a job.
Yo, I love this.
Never had a job in my adult life.
Oh,
no work history. No nothing.
And a new name.
Got a job. And that's possibly why I got the job. Because I really feel like if they would have.
That's what sister's basically saying. She like, do you understand God giving you a whole, literally a clean slate, sir? Stop arguing with me. Yo, what?
Word. So, I did that. And from that moment on, I was working. So first I was a porter for Heinz Field. I was cleaning Pittsburgh Stadium. But my perk for that was we got to be
in the games. Yo, I can't.
Right there, we in the tunnels.
Oh my gosh.
Then after they closed, we cleaned the whole stadium up. We found money,
everything,
drunk wallets, all types
engagement rings too. People stay dropping rings.
All types
oh my goodness.
All over the place. So, you know what I'm saying? That was my job for a little while. Then my niece was like, yo, somebody got another job thing. Didn't you say you got maintenance experience?
Oh my
yeah.
God.
They got me into, so I started working at this building for old folks building as a maintenance worker. And I worked with them for about maybe a year. And then they was like, yo, we gotta move you. I'm like, why? It was like, because
this is the halfway house.
They cutting money here. No, this is the job.
Oh, job.
Because I'm going to the job from the halfway. Oh, well, I'm jumping here because I said it. So I'm in the halfway house working like that. Then I finally get out the halfway house. I'm moving to my niece's house. Okay. My niece is like, yo.
All right, halfway house for 6 months.
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
She's like, yo, I know you just got the fees, so don't worry about things for a little while. Give me what you could give me here and there, but don't worry about it. Like I know you are. So I'm doing that for a minute. So now I'm starting to, like I said, pick my pace with the jobs. I'm switching jobs here and there, little jobs with the maintenance. So she gets me a job with the maintenance, and then I'm there for about a year. Then they like, we gotta switch you to these other buildings because somebody bought the buildings up and they only want one maintenance person here. But we not going to just throw you to the wolves. It's another spot that we know that they need somebody for maintenance, and it's a little more money. We gonna send you over there.
Of course it is.
I go there and get that, and I'm working there for a little while, and I'm down in Pittsburgh almost 4 years. But I'm trying now to transfer back up to New York because I'm getting acclimated back to New York. I'm going back and forth to New York. Some of the dudes that I was incarcerated with, we start doing music and stuff together. So we trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get my mojo back.
What's your niece saying when she saw you going back and forth?
She know I was going to go back. But she just was like, she wasn't worried that I wasn't living there.
Right.
You go on a visit, you want to go and see your people and all of that. She was cool with that, but because I still was living in Pittsburgh. But she told me, you know what I'm saying, like, if things don't work out, you know what I'm saying, I'm here with her. So I was like, all right, you know what I'm saying, and I left and ran around New York for a minute, got into a relationship that went south. Then
what was you doing when you first got here?
God again. So,
God, I'm all over you.
record, yeah,
Oh, your whole life, I know.
Yeah. Real rap. But you don't see it till you can see it.
Yeah.
You don't see it till you can see it.
That part.
And I came up from Pittsburgh, saved a little money, came up, and of course I don't have a job yet. But I come up and somebody says to me, I could get you a construction job, but you gotta get your OSHA.
Tell me what OSHA is.
So OSHA is the certification that you need to work on a construction site. If you don't have OSHA, it's basically the safety rules, the safety and the health hazard rules on sites and how to deal with chemicals and all of these things. So you have to have this knowledge before you're able to work on any construction site, any site that deals with cleaning or chemicals or things of that nature. You have to have that certification. So I'm like, let me go get that. You know what I'm saying? Because they like, if you could get the certification, I'll give you a job tomorrow. You just got to get the OSHA. So I'm like, all right. And I already knew some of the OSHA stuff because the OSHA for construction and the OSHA for maintenance is a little different, but it's also similar.
Right.
Especially with the chemical breakdowns and stuff. So when I went to take the course for the class, a dude that owns a construction company was the dude that gets the class done, paid for dudes to teach for the class for the OSHA. The OSHA instructor got sick. So the dude that owned the construction company that week was teaching the course for the OSHA. And I was so crisp answering stuff, and questions and this and that the dude at the end of the class pulls me to the side and says, yo, you know your stuff, man. You working somewhere already?
I'm
nah. Just got up here from Pittsburgh. So, just got here. I said, yeah, I was living in Pittsburgh for a while, but I moved back up here. He said, you want a job? I said, yeah, I'm looking for work. He said, you got the job already? Well, just come back here tomorrow, fill out paperwork so that I can get the paperwork in, and I'll have you working before the week is out. I'm such and such and such. I own the company, and that's what I'm telling you, basically. Like, you know your stuff, I'm gonna get you a job. Straight into construction.
Straight into construction.
Again, no work is
New name.
I
gotta keep saying that. I'm sorry because we were talking about names last night. So Paul, God will change your name and change your life. What? Sir.
So I started doing
I better make sure I say his name right.
Started doing construction, and as I was doing construction, I just every site, every couple of months got better because I'm learning more, and as they start seeing I'm learning more, now this agency that I was working through for the construction company was still a temp agency.
Right.
So he got me working, but like I said, it's a temp agency, but he got mad sites. Mm-hmm. So it's really a temp job, but it's really like you're auditioning for a permanent job. Temp. Right. Mm-hmm. So I went to one site and they had a company there, and the dude was like, yo, these dudes right here, they be taking a lot of dudes. If they really see that you know what you're doing and you work, they gonna take you. So don't lollygag around them at all. Like, work, you work. So work, bro. And I'm telling you, you're gonna get more money, everything, blah, 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 blah. So I said, no doubt. So I did it. Like 2 weeks went by, and they was leaving the site, and they was like, yo, you, they want y'all to go with them, with the company, Gerard and them. So I was like, why? So they was like, nah, they taking y'all.
Right.
Like, y'all going with them.
You work for them now.
Yeah.
Yo,
so
what?
like, and y'all getting like, y'all getting a little more money, this and that. So went with them for a little while, and like all of that was like just going good. I was learning a lot with them and this and that. But they was kicking my ass.
It was work.
Construction, especially when you first get into it and you don't got like a major skill set already, you basically gonna be a laborer at first. Mm-hmm. And that laboring Be for
that
real,
laboring was
yeah.
laboring.
Take these 200 shoulder blocks and put them over there so we can sweep and do this whole area and get on Elizabeth. Then move the 200 cinder block back over. And we need
like,
that.
man, y'all go pick that up, bro. Like,
And we need that done before lunchtime. We're gonna have some other stuff for you to do after that.
God, right.
Yeah, so
enjoy,
you know
fellas.
what I'm saying? So the money was great though, and I I was getting acclimated with working. I'm getting working, so I'm happy. I'm getting decent checks. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, I'm happy.
And you had a lady?
Yeah, and I'm all over the place. So
good.
after I had, I came up here. I was dealing with this girl. Things was all right for a little while, but they didn't pan out. Mm-hmm. And I ran back into, a childhood sweetheart. Mm-hmm. And, we just sparks flew. As soon as we seen each other again, and we got like kind of right back on the same page. We had never left off. And turned into overnight whirlwind romance again, and the next thing you know, I was back with her. Moving forward with our lives, man. We was trying to do, more than just be boyfriend and girlfriend. Mm-hmm.
So what's that sound like? What is that?
Eventually we want to get married.
Of course you do. Yo, because I heard y'all had like a big wedding and stuff.
Well, actually, we had two
they
weddings.
had two. I had to say it though.
We had two weddings.
Listen,
we had a wedding. You know what I'm saying? That we had formulated together. That was supposed to kind of be a small little gathering for family and friends, but it turned into a nice,
real turnout,
big display. It turned into a great turnout, and then my wife also wanted a destination wedding, so.
I promise y'all knew she was. I was gonna hear that voice sooner or later. Listen, God is the greatest. Well, so wait, not even taking away from that, you already had the 3 children. Mm-hmm. So, what other?
These are my wife's children.
They're all your wife's children.
Yes.
So you got to start popping about
and they are
immediately.
My children as well. These are children she already had.
Yes. I'm losing it. I knew that.
Blended family. Yeah, blended family.
So now I just want to backtrack. So come home after doing 15 years, right? Your niece, shout out to your niece. I gotta meet her. I gotta shake the heck out of her hands.
She's an animal.
Like, I love this girl and don't know her. Okay, I love her.
She got a hell of a testimony.
Listen, she's dope. Okay, wow. Sis was like, I love you. Let me just help you out real quick. That ain't it right now. Yeah. So, moved to Pittsburgh with your niece. She helped you, your feet and everything. You decided to come back to New York. Mm-hmm. Already had the 3 children. They all still lived here, right?
No, my youngest, remember, was in Delaware.
Oh, right. Okay.
So my first oldest daughter was still here, and my son was in Virginia.
Okay.
His mother had wound up moving to Virginia with him as a teen. She didn't like it. She wanted to move it back. Okay. He liked it, so he didn't want to leave.
Gotcha.
So he wound up staying in Virginia for a little while, and when I came home, he was still in Virginia. My daughter was still here in New York. My youngest was still in Delaware. Okay. And of course, quite naturally, reached out to all of them. Trying to, focused on the job of building our rapport back. You know what I'm saying? Because basically, my youngest really didn't get me at all. Right. She saw me on a few visits here and there, but she didn't really get to have me with father. And both of my other children, the oldest ones, they got me, but they didn't really have me either. Like, especially in those pertinent years when they needed me. Like I said, when I left, I think my son may have been. I want to say. daughter is, like I said, 2 or 3 years younger than him. So he's 30, she's 27. My youngest is 23.
So they were small, but
Right.
your son.
He was a little older, right? Like he
yeah.
was. This is why I learned that too about the emulating and the sponge thing. You know what I'm saying? So just to touch on that right quick, briefly. So while I was incarcerated, my son was in class one day, and the teacher asked him, "What did he want to be?" And he said, "I want to be a drug dealer like my uncle." Mind you, my son had never been on drugs. But after my brother got killed, and people are talking, he's listening. So people are saying, "Yeah, they were selling all them drugs. That's my second got killed." So he's just hearing, but he absorbing it.
Yeah, he like they don't know.
Yeah, you know, he's the only thing I could honestly say that my nephew ever saw. He saw money.
Right.
He saw a lot of money. And, from that and him just seeing other things, he put 2 and 2 kind of together. Because I don't think anybody ever said my brother was a drug dealer. Right. But just saying the word drugs in his name. Drugs. And they ain't even found no drugs when they went in his house. And So, like I said, he just absorbing here. And he had, right when I came home, he got locked up for a gun.
Your son?
Yes. And, got a chance to talk to him.
So it's this again. Yeah. Is one coming out, one going in?
And I say to him, "Yo, I was with the gun." And he says to me, "Pops, let me keep it real with you. Before somebody hurt me, I'm going to hurt them. I'm not going to let nobody do me like they did my homie."
Ooh.
You hear me? This is the... Yeah. What can you say to that? You know, I didn't know what to say then, but I know what I would say now. I would say, "But you're not doing what your uncle did." But at the time, I don't know. He is 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And I should have caught it when he said that, but I'm just thinking he's traumatized from the whole, hearing the whole, you know, because he knew my brother. So for him to just disappear out of his life, I know at some point he probably said, you know, like, "Where's my uncle?" Yeah, like, and he like, blah, 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 you know, and thinking he don't really get the gist of it, but he got the gist of it.
So you never even really had a conversation with him about what happened to you?
Never really had a chance to.
That probably was hard on him too.
Listen, that whole thing was, I knew it was difficult for them in so many moments that I had in prison. Like I said, it just changed my whole mindset. I was like, I can't go home and do the same shit. You know what I'm saying? One of the moments too was another moment I had with at one point my son stopped wanting to come up on visits with his mom. He's like, "I don't want to go." And she's upset. So she's telling him like, "You are gonna go. You know what I'm saying? You are gonna go. You are gonna go." So I one day she didn't come tell him. So she's like, "If you ain't gonna go, then tell him." She got him on the phone like, "If you're not gonna go, tell him you're not going. Tell him you're not going." So he gets on the phone and I'm like, "What's up, yo?" And he's like, I don't want to come up here." You know what I'm saying? And I'm grateful that I had been in there long enough and started meeting enough people and getting enough jewels that I wasn't even upset. Originally, when I first got in, like people were calm and all, like all the shit I do for y'all, you know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't. But I'm a little more rational now. So instead of being upset, I say to him, "Why you don't want to come?" Because that's more important than me being bad.
Yes, thank you, Dad. Yeah.
Why you don't want to come? He said, "I'm tired of coming up there, and then when we leave, you can't go." How you mad at him for that?
Right. Okay, moms, learning.
How can I be mad for that?
Learning moment, moms. Just ask questions.
Your father,
don't get mad.
You have to go. Yeah. But if it's hurting him to go, why make him go?
But she's hurting too.
Right. But
so her response is from her own hurt as well.
Yeah. So like, don't project that on like, if you don't want to come, don't even worry about it. Like, we'll deal with that later. And then even my youngest daughter at one point, she's cutting up in school at one point, and my mom was like, I need you to talk to her. You there? She's like, it don't matter. You matter, Dad. Like, they know. Oh, she's 6 pages of you. You talk to her. She listens to you. She may have been 6 at the time, 6 or 7. So I get her on the phone and I'm like, what's going on with you? She's like, you're a hypocrite.
At 6.
Hypocrite.
At 6.
Not hypocrite. Hypocrite. Yeah, at 6. And I said, what do you mean? She said, here you on the phone telling me to be good. But you not being good. So she says this because a month before that, we had a conversation where her mom was like, she's getting old enough, she's really asking, you gotta tell her it's me what's going with you. I keep telling her to do away.
She's like, wait.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell her that. You tell her. So I told her, I'm in the school for the bad people. And she's like, how long you gotta be there? I said, I gotta be here until I start being good. And then I get to come home. So she, okay.
She's like, that shouldn't be that long.
A month later, she said to me, how dare you talk to me about being good when you not being good? And I said, how you gonna say I'm not being good? She said, because you told me that you were in school for bad people, and that when you do good, they was going to let you come home, and you're not here, so that means you're still being bad. So how you telling me not to be bad and you doing the same thing?
Be your own kids. I feel convicted. I'm good.
Like,
sometimes.
What's your mother back?
I know that's right.
I don't want to talk to you no more. Listen,
like
ain't
blue schools on. Like, what's happening here?
Beat up.
There's a timeout chair. Like, what?
Yeah, so like, and this is those, like I said, those absorb moments where we thinking that they little people.
They're little people. They are little persons.
And they absorb and they feel and they think, and things that you would never think that they understand or grasping. They are.
And they feel you. They feel mom's energy.
Right.
They feel and see how you are when sometimes they might even know you're crying about dad being away and you thinking you covering it up a little. Right. They feel this little person's a part of you.
Right.
Give our kids, more credit.
Absolutely. Them antennas, that vibration, that's a whole other conversation. But yeah,
for sure.
Right. So, I just, those small moments,
small but big.
The moment when, like I said, I spoke to my mother and, she told me, I'm gonna be here until they catch them other efforts. And I'm gonna see them get what they supposed to get. And sure enough, 2 weeks after them dudes got sentenced. This was 2 years later. You know what I'm saying? She just came out of remission from cancer and came back. And she 2 weeks in court, chemo, she in court in pain, moaning. She there every court date, and 2 weeks after them dudes got sentenced.
She said it as well. She said, I know my son coming home, other son is here. And yes, justice was served. Wow. So now, tell me, how does a man come home from doing time, getting himself comfortable with being a working citizen, runs into his childhood sweetheart, gets into a space where he feels, I want to be married, how do you navigate through the emotions or even feel like, I feel like I'm man enough or I have enough wisdom or I have enough love in me for this person to be a good husband?
Um,
What is a good husband?
to be 100% honest with you, there's so many different answers that I could give you to that, but again, they would probably be perceptions because people receive things differently and people perceive things differently. So I could say a good husband is a good provider, but I would say that because this is what I have been shown.
Right.
This is what I have emulated.
Right.
That was
your environment.
I haven't. I can honestly say that I haven't been around enough married people to tell you what a good husband is.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer.
People think they know, but it really is just their perception. It's not really a no. It's not a statistic type thing where you're like, the good husband is like this.
Yeah, it's not
because these statistics say this is what it is. It's not that. Right. Because what works in, you could put two people together and it could not work out for them, but you put these same two people with two other people and it does. And they're the same people, but it's just that they didn't interact the same. They didn't mesh the same. You know what I mean? And
so how did you know?
How did I know what percent?
How did you know this was her and it was the time?
I honestly believe that we always were. I think we always were in love with each other. From when this was our second time dealing with each other. Okay. I had messed with her briefly before my stint going to prison, and so we kind of knew about each other. We were comfortable with each other. You know what I mean? We were good money when we first met. We were great money. Yeah, I met her. I literally met her. I met her, and how crazy is this? My brother has a son with her sister. So I met her through her sister. So
how many sisters does she have?
A plethora of sisters.
Oh, he said it's a plethora. Okay, so one of her siblings was basically already like your sister-in-law type situation.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I met her through her and my brother, and because they were, dating each other at the time or whatever. And I wound up meeting her the first date I had with her. I wound up not leaving her crib.
She was like, got him. So okay, because my thinking is this, and I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being serious because a lot of times we don't. Fortunately for you, you started to understand I'm doing this time, and God was bringing people to you that poured life and the right words into you to make you start looking into your case. For one, that was dope.
Absolutely.
Like for you to start looking into your case, for you to realize, okay, I'm doing what I gotta do financially for my kids as much as I can, but this money's gonna dry up. I gotta do something else while I'm in here. So you were able to work and educate yourself. Okay? So with that, you get in the maturity in those particular avenues. So now you come home remembering how you felt about this young lady, right? But also you have 3 children. She has 4 children. So her children already knew you, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I guess part of it.
You know what? And I'm missing one. It's 5. I said 4 is 5.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But the last 2 didn't know.
Okay.
But her first children,
right.
I was there for her first children, and she had another daughter. I was there for her too.
Okay.
And but the last 2, they didn't know.
Okay. So, like I was saying, my thinking is, was it just something where you like, I know this is it, and you just went with it? Because in my brain, I'm just like, okay, I'm already trying to figure out things for myself. I love this person, but we both got stuff going on. I'm nervous.
I initially didn't know it was it, but I feel like over time you start to understand the level of love that someone has for you, and you know what I'm saying, that opens your heart and moves your heart to a different degree.
Love that. That was good.
You know what I'm saying?
That was good.
And like at the end of the day, I can, I can wholeheartedly 100% say that I know that she loves me. I can honestly say that in spite of anything that we go through. You know what I'm saying? I know that. You know what I'm saying? At her angriest, I know that she still loves me.
Right. Love that. So now, I'm so sorry. Excuse me. Okay. So, have you ever felt like, I know one of the things, and I'm asking this because I really want you to talk to the heart of the men. Mm-hmm. One of the things I would see men have issues with when they already have other children is the other children accepting who the new you is. Does that make any sense? Mm-hmm. So have you ever had issues where your biological children felt or gave you energy like, you're being a better man for now her and her family? What about us?
My daughters were like that. Okay. Not my son.
Okay. And he's the oldest.
Yes. My daughter's big gripe was, you've been gone all this time. Nobody should be getting your attention but us. But not understanding that that's not feasible when I'm not even, first of all, I'm not even all the way together. I'm still getting things together. Yeah. And two, why everybody else get to do what they want to do and be happy except me?
Right.
Because
I did time.
Right. Like I've already been punished. I done did my death. You know what I'm saying? So and I get it. Like I understood their anger. But I was lucky enough to get counseling while I was inside. I was very fortunate. Listen, I get the higher power. I'm gonna keep saying this
over you, sir.
These moments, and it be moments that even the dark moments when you're thinking, damn, it still be him like God in some type of way because you think he punishing you, but he's saving you.
The flowers grow in the dark too.
You know what I'm saying? So like even when I got caught with the phone, like I'm being 100% honest, my years in Fort Dix doing a bunch of stuff I had no business doing was the funnest time I had in prison.
Right.
But the best time that I had as far as bettering myself came when I went to Texas. When I got caught with that cell phone and got sent to Texas because I wound up getting into this program called a challenge program. And they base a lot of their studies around, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it's a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey.
I think I have that book. I'm almost for certain I have that book, actually.
Right there.
Listen,
what the program was based around. Me, Jules in that joint. And it just basically gives you a chance to really reflect. Like I said, you got that time to reflect and look at yourself and hear, because I had counselors challenging me and making me understand that I was full of shit. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just like that.
All the way wrong. Like we've seen you before.
Like what?
Like we wasn't born yesterday. Come on.
Because the majority of guys in the street, the mantra is doing this for my family. Mm-hmm. I'm doing this
help somebody.
I'm doing this because we ain't got no other way. Mm-hmm.
Line.
What other way you tried?
Oh, shots fired. You chose violence right there.
It's real though.
Nah, that's
what
over,
other
right?
way you try?
Yeah.
Like when they ask you that, what is your honest opinion? Before you got that first felony, we ain't talking about after you got it. Before you got that first felony,
What was you doing?
what were you trying to do?
That's
nothing. In a way.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you was doing something, you wouldn't have had no time to be lusting over all that other stuff that people was getting and having because you busy doing what you supposed to be doing.
That part. Yes,
and if you got around the right people, you learn that all that stuff that the people that you listen over there is people over here doing regular stuff that got there too.
The same thing. Come on and help somebody. That's a fact though.
For real.
Yeah.
So who you
and they ain't worried about the police.
Yeah.
Just living their life.
So who you really fooling to? And he said, about you ain't get a shot or you ain't do this, you ain't give yourself a shot. And then I don't want to hear even one of my counselors was
wrong.
I don't want to hear that bullshit about your family and all that shit either. Hey, who in here with that family? You was doing it for your family bullshit. Right? You was doing it for your family? What did you leave your family when you got incarcerated? Your family got a CDs and all that. They got a couple of houses out there. That's what you was, what I'm saying?
Calling y'all out.
He said, how many of y'all was selling drugs for over 2 to 3 years? Everybody, I was doing. He said,
you better ask about me.
Yeah. You was doing all that for 3 years. What your kids got right now?
No.
Right now, not right now. What they got that you left them? Yeah, you left them savings bonds. What you left them? Some type of money that they gonna inherit when they get
IRA, like
you left them
got?
a college fund. They got a house that no matter what happens they can live in it. Like what if? Oh, my bad. I forgot. They was taking care of them because you was buying them Jordans.
Oh.
You was buying them Versace.
Yo.
That they gonna grow out of when they too wearing Versace. Exactly. They too wearing this and that. They too wearing this and that. He said, guess what? I'm gonna give you 2 forms of bad news from that. One, you really wasn't doing shit. Because all that shit that they could grow out of don't mean shit 2 or 3 years from now. And 3, guess what else you did? Create a bunch of motherfucking monsters that want shit and they can't get provided for no more because you ain't there to do it because you ain't there doing the shit you doing. So guess what they might do as they get older? Try to figure out ways to keep getting that shit that you was giving them. So because you created the monsters. They can get everything they got when daddy there selling drugs and they can get everything and now daddy gone, but they still want it.
Boy.
They still want it. They still want it. They still want it. So now what? That's how some people that's how it's doing. My son was telling his mom, I don't want that.
He was like Carter's.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
I want an Averex like my father had. I want an Averex. What? You don't want an Averex, you want a job. You old enough to have one. Talking about some Averex.
Right. You want an A
the stuff she
in school.
Cutting it up.
Oh.
Yeah, because now you forced to buy me when I'm asking you to buy me. That's what you're thinking. He getting cheaper and cheaper. Oh, you cut that $90 jacket up? Let's see you cut this $40 one. The $40 one, yeah, you gonna cut that up? You gonna get the $10 one. Yeah.
Which way will
keep playing how you keep playing how you want to play. And I'm partially my fault. Because here I was caught up on want to give my kids everything that I could possibly get them because they gonna know that I'm a good father from that.
Speak to that, please.
And like I said, I warned them to an extent because I just basically made them feel like they can get whatever they want, whenever they wanted it, and not do anything for it, but just exist and it's gonna happen like that.
I mean, but there's a mom involved because mothers can say they have an opinion in the matter. They can say, listen, Okay,
Women are not that. How about this? A lot of women. A lot of women are not opinionated at the moment when the money's flowing. They shut up. They sit back and they just say,
You got it.
and he taking care of my food. That, they ain't saying nothing. But they're gonna say, hey, you spending too much money on the bill. They ain't gonna say that because they don't want them. You looking at them like, what?
But okay, so even what you saying that, because I'm gonna get more of this. All right, we're gonna take a little break. We're gonna tap right back into that parenting, and then we're gonna wrap things up. Thank you.